Greetings, fallen dogs and Japonites, and welcome to Peinteingu. Today, on Woden's Day, I believe. Is it Woden's Day? As a former god, now demigod, I am still getting used to the concept of time and days and such. But yes, it's my phone tells me that it is indeed Woden's Day. So, happy Woden's Day to you all. To Waker Andy Barrow. Welcome. Dick Fordu. Demon Hunter Barrow. Stabberoo. You beat me to it, Demon Hunter. How dare you? My honor is racking at just 2 knives. Oh, that's a... Quick, Reich, the swift flying arrow, am I, Stabberoo? Indeed, Demon Hunter. Most of the time you're like straight in there. That's hilarious. Rarry, the Japonites, it's almost time for the goo. Griffu, Antonio, welcome. Seppuku for me again. Seppuku's not something you can do more than once. I am Reich Fur Connors from Groundhog Day. It's like, fucking, how many times do you need to commit seppuku before you can regain honor? It's like, if you survive committing seppuku, I think you've regained honor. Like, oh, fuck. Imagine going to commit seppuku and then surviving it. Like, I'm gonna more than likely repeatedly get like droplets of honey all over the fucking laptop every time I say a word beginning with P. And I'm also gonna have droplets and chunks of honey stuck in my big bear Reich beard. I love it. Fucking Griffu. Hara hara hara. So that's how a real Japanite laughs. Hara hara hara. Moonu Knights rejoice. What the fuck is a Moonu Knight? Moononite. Griff's starting to make up his own groups. Gonna have to keep an eye on him. Soon he will start a rebellion. Griff secretly doesn't want me to get back into the sacred halls of heaven. He wants me to stay here and do Peinteingu for eternity. Selfish fuck. Oh, glorious Java. Right. A ding of the dong for clarity. That beautiful noise rings through the sacred halls of Peinteingu. Well, the sacred hut of Peinteingu. Brings clarity to my mind. And readies me for the day ahead. So, Aquatine Hunger Force, Nilaru. That makes Hillary Clinton angry. Japonites are immortal too. Well, as I am a merciful demigod, I have, Oh! A moment! I have not descended to correct Peinteingu posture. There we go. I have descension complete. As a merciful demigod, I saw it only fit to grant at least temporary immortality to my most royal members. So you're all temporarily immune to death. Figuratively speaking. So Griff immediately is like, shit, I was just taking a piss. Is he serious? And just like drives head on into another truck to see if it works. And then subsequently survives. So then creates a situation where Griff actually thinks he's immortal and starts going around America driving into things at fucking 100 miles an hour. Oh, that'd be, like, there's another cartoon for you. Anyone who has not Anyone who has not watched the new Shogun series is racking honor. So good. I'm seeing and hearing good things about it. And I really like one of the main actors in it. The guy who played is it Ujio? I think his name was Ujio or something like that in The Last Samurai. He's been in a few things now. He was in the latest Mortal Kombat movie. As far as I remember, he's a very, very famous Japanese American actor or whatever. Like, I think he was in 47 Ronin as well. I'm not sure, but I really like that guy. Yujio, yeah, he played Yujio in The Last Samurai. One of my favorite scenes of The Last Samurai is where the ninjas attack the village and try to assassinate Katsumoto. And there's a scene where like near right at the end of it, like where Tom Cruise's character and Katsumoto are fighting inside like one of the houses, and just as they kill the last like 3 ninjas that are in the room with them, it cuts to outside, and Yujio is like after dealing with like 3 of them, and like is like drawing his blade out of a dude, and he just goes, "Ishii!" And then they all start roaring it at the same time as well. So it's like declaring victory over the ninjas. It's such a cool scene, like, you know, because you're genuinely worried that Katsumoto is going to get it, or get injured, or someone, or a main character like Yujio is going to die protecting them or some shit. Like, it's a great scene. There's a bit in that scene about halfway through where you see Yujio fucking take out 2 dudes and then like do like a fucking, what's it called, like a yukimi? I think it's called a yukimi, where it's basically like a tactical roll out the way, like, you know. But he like holds one guy's wrist and then like deflects another dude and like slashes him across the abdomen, making him double over, and then turns back towards the guy that he has grappled, and then like yukimi rolls into a slice, like taking him out too. It's a really cool sequence of events that kind of showcases like how dangerous Yujio is. He's a really cool character in that movie. Like at the end when like they're all charging and they get hit by a volley of bullets, and like Yujio gets shot like 3 times and he just stands up, kills a guy, and then he's like leaning over on his sword, and someone else comes up and is like, "Are you okay?" And he like shrugs them off and spits a load of blood out and just goes, "Ugh!" Like, just the way he portrays, like, you know, the ideal samurai warrior in that movie is fucking epic. Old Adult Swim show on Cartoon Network equals euro pound spoken in English for clarity. I have no idea what you're on about, Griff. But Cartoon Network was anyway. Am I reading the right thing? Cartoon Network, yeah. Fucking what was it? Aqua Teen Hunger Force, yeah. I've spoken about that before. Like, I used to love that show. I didn't actually watch a lot of it, but when I caught it, I was always like, this is hilarious. My favorite character was Meatwad. The fucking I can like his voice is pretty easy to mimic. I remember doing it I remember doing it on the stream before, and Demon Hunter Bear was like, that's a really convincing Meatwad. But like you have to like know a line, I suppose, and like I'm kind of blanking right now. Cause like I remember being like, "Oh, sour dads." Like it's pretty much like that's pretty much his voice. Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah, you guys just don't know what it means to be a Meatwad. Fuck you out. Like, it's pretty much his voice, but like it's much better when you know like a bit of dialogue from the fucking show or some shit like that. Like, but Aqua Teen Hunger Force was hilarious. I mean, the main characters are a drinks cup with like yellow hands, and then a fucking box of fries or chips, whatever you want to call them, potato chips, but fries. Fucking, we call them chips, you call them fries. And he's like a fucking it's like a floating box of fries, and he's like got like wizard powers and shit. And then there's the drinks cup, and then there's Meatwad, and Meatwad is just like he's a wad of meat. He's not even a meatball. He's a Meatwad. Like, I fucking love that show. Griff, what was that link you put in the Telegram chat that was like talking about Shogun and Samurai Jack? Is that like something you found on Rumble that like streams both of those shows, or you can watch them for free or some shit? The gonga resonates across the room. Yeah, it's like it's so satisfying that you guys can hear it now. Clarity commencing. Ah, I love it. Just cleanses the chi. No driving today. Rain out in Corona. Carolina. Rain. Like you can't drive because the rain. Pussy. I can only imagine actually how much conditions affect long trucks versus just a normal car because of all the momentum and weight distribution involved. Like if you're going like anything like 35 miles an hour and then you got to brake and there's like any sort of like, you know, drop in friction, you know, like surface water or ice or some shit like that. Like isn't that the most common cause of trucks crashing? Is just like the driver going to turn or apply the brake. And it's usually like environmental conditions and shit like that. Like, those things are like fucking terrifying. Like, you know, like in the sense of like, when you're very aware of how like fragile a human being can be in a given context, and like an 18-wheeler just barrels past you on a main road at like fucking 60, 70 miles an hour, and it's like the air, the fucking, you know the way it pushes all the air out of the way, and if you're like, depending on how close you are to it, you'll get that like waft, that blast of air passing you, like, and it's like like if the weight and speed and like momentum of that, like the inertia from that thing is making the air particles go against my face, imagine like you probably wouldn't even feel a truck hitting you at like 60, 70, like, do you know what I mean? You'd get that like deer in the headlights moment where like your whole body would go, oh fuck, I'm about to get hit. And if you tried to dive out of the way, or if you just froze, like the overwhelming release of like adrenaline and shock and shit, and then the thing just like smacks into you, like it would probably shatter every bone in your body almost upon impact. You know, like, depending, like, if it hits you straight on, if you're just, like, standing there and the first thing to get hit is, like, your face, your shoulders, your rib cage, your chest cavity, and then your knees or whatever, like, utterly wreck you. Like, you literally turn you into a stain before you even get, like, the rest of you gets dragged down the road. Like, speaking of stains, actually, it was hilarious. That show, The Colony, that I'm watching is, like, really fucking, it's pretty cool. Like, there's some cool moments in it, like, cool concepts and shit. And they have these, they have these alien drones that are fucking, they're really cool, like, and they have two firing modes that I've seen so far, where like when they're like, they show up and scan a situation and they'll like you know, okay, there's a target, and they just like, say there's like 6 civilians trying to steal food from a government truck or some shit, they'll just go like brr, 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 and it sounds like a really high rate of fire small caliber weapon that just like riddles them real quickly. But then there's another scene where a drone finds some of the main characters trying to like climb up over a section of the wall that has like less sensors than the rest of it, and they're just trying to like basically rappel over the thing, like, you know, and they get about halfway up the wall and this drone finds them and they're just like, oh fuck, we're so dead, like, you know. And I like, I thought it was going to do the same thing. I thought it was just going to go brr, brr, and like start riddling them, and they'd like, you know, oh, and let go of the rope and fall to their death or whatever. But it just goes like, boo, and fucking like turns them into red paste on the wall in an instant. So like the main character is like, he's like, oh shit, we're gonna die, like, I'm so sorry, I got us into this and shit. And there's another character above him and another character below him, and they both just get like turned into red stains in an instant. And I was just sitting there going, oh my god, because like, you know, you're expecting the thing to do what it's done, what you've seen it do before, where it's just like brr, And it's just like, oh, you know, like it shoots them like 7 times in half a second, like, you know, in the other scenes. And you can kind of see that they have this like little rotating barrel device on the lower half of them. Like, so you're like, okay, it's like a small Gatling gun or a small minigun, like, which would be highly effective. Like, do you know what I mean? Could you imagine like a 9mm handheld minigun? How fucking effective that would be in battle. Like, minimum recoil. You don't have to reload because you just have a belt fed from a backpack. It's only 9mm, so like it's be real small and easy to handle and shit. As long as you have the like engineering capability to reduce all of those fucking mechanical parts down to a size that's like, you know, manhandleable. Like they have miniguns that like a dude can carry, but they're still quite like, you know, impractical and cumbersome in lots of ways. Like, but I think if you made a belt fed 9mm, even put like, you don't need to put 6 barrels on it. You could just put 3 barrels on it and just put like a really what would be the term, like a high RPM, isn't that what it is, rotations per minute, or RPM, yeah. But like real cool shit. But yeah, like I wasn't expecting the thing to just go boo, like, and just fucking, like, it doesn't even vaporize them. Like, it literally just like, they go from being a person to a bloody stain on the wall in an instant. It's almost comical. Like, it's a good show though. You should check it out. Like, there's some gravy moments in it. Like, you know, like, I don't want to ruin anything. That's why I didn't mention the names of the characters or whatever like that. Like, but it's really cool. It kind of like there's a combination of like something cool happens every episode, but also slowly over the first and second season, you get like little droplets of you know, oh, so that's what the aliens are like, or like, you know, fucking, you find out like different like rebellious forces that are acting in the background and shit like that. Like, and it's genuinely like quite entertaining. And like I haven't seen like a ton of woke shit in it. But I'm sure like I'm sure some expert truther would watch it and be like, this is propaganda. I mean, it is called Colony and shit, like, but I don't know. I don't really give a fuck about that shit anymore. Like, I'm just trying to like, I'm like I said before in the stream, I'm trying to watch like whatever now. Like, even when the female is watching Grey's Anatomy beside me, like, I'm trying to just like find it funny instead of letting it stress me out about like how fucked up and degenerate it is in so many ways. Like I could just hear a line of dialogue from a character in that, or hear the main character like narrating it, and just some of the things they say, I'm just left sitting there going like, if like that, I know it's a show, I know it's fiction, but it's like it's what's the, like, it's place, no, not its place, it's fucking like the fantasy takes place in like reality, you know, and like it's supposed to be like a fucking hospital full of these surgeons who are like really high level, and it's all about the drama in between them and shit. Like, and just some of the stuff that goes down, it's like you would not want these people, you know, responsible for your health, like, at all. Like, you know what I mean? It'd be fucking like, you'd instantly just be like, no, I don't want these fucking drug addicts and fucking sex addicts and psychopaths fucking like tending to my fucking medical needs. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's so bent out of shape. Like, how many black samurai are in it? In Shogun or The Last Samurai? I don't think there's any blacks in The Last Samurai. There was a black samurai though, wasn't there? Like, even like in the game Neo, there's like a dude who was like a legendary black samurai. Like, there's always exceptions to the rule, like, you know? Like, there had to have been, like, well, not that there had to have been, but there, like, chances are there was like a few dudes who like nomadically just like traveled or ended up in a situation via stowing away in a ship or being bought as a slave, or they were just really good at killing, so they were hired by multiple warlords and stuff across nations and shit. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's one of those things that makes you travel a lot. Like, if you're just really good at killing people, like, back then, you know, you would have been notorious. Like, you would have like made a name for yourself, and people would hear about, like, you know, this nigga's like a guy you want to have in your army. Like, or at least on your side. Acting is on point. No Brax historically. Yeah, like one of the reasons why I wanted to watch it is because like that's how you can gauge stuff these days. It's like similar to the game Helldivers 2. I've seen a lot of fucking woke cunts online giving out about Shogun and the fact that it's historically accurate and there's no black people in it and it's all Japanese people and there's no white people or black people or whatever. It's like, what the fuck. It's just, like it's just as ridiculous when people turn around and it's like our prime minister, our Taoiseach, the guy who just resigned. He's on record, and there's a guy in England as well who did the same thing, or was it Scotland? I think it was Scotland who did the same thing. He went on a tirade for like 3 minutes where he was like, all the members of parliament, white. All the members of this, white. The blah 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 for, you know, education, white. The blah 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 for blah blah blah, white. And it's like, obviously, you're in Scotland, you fucking wanker. Do you know what I mean? And like the only reason he's saying all that is because he's not white, like, and it's like, what the fuck, like. We had the same thing here. We had a fucking gay, half Indian, you know, like in charge. Like, you know, they say in charge, but like, what power do they actually have? But like a gay Indian in our fucking, we call it the Dáil, which is essentially the parliament. Like, you know, we had a gay Indian turning around being and saying that it's like, it's shocking how white the Dáil is, and it's like. You are in Ireland, and if the Irish Parliament is for, you know, delegating what the Irish public wants, they're going to be pasty-ass fucking black hair, brown hair, ginger hair, blonde hair, but they're gonna be fucking white, you thick cunt. You know, like, freckles, no freckles, but it's like could you imagine the balls of someone? Imagine me, right? Imagine if I went into politics and was real woke and I went to Japan and I wormed my... I probably wouldn't be able to because they're not fucking retards as much as we are in the West. But imagine you wormed your way into Japanese politics, right? And you got yourself a position and you're surrounded by fucking Asians. You're surrounded by Japs in a room talking about what the Japs want in their society and in their public and shit. And as a white ginger, as an Irishman, I'm standing there going, there's too many Japs in this parliament. There's not enough representation of foreigners in this parliament. Like, do you know, like, oh man. Like, I seriously think people who say that shit in those positions should just be arrested and, like, put away, like, for years. I'm talking, like, murder charge. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're on telly or the radio broadcasting blatant propaganda, hypocrisy. Like, it's such a dishonorable thing to do. It's a dishonorable thing for us to let happen, for some foreign faggot to get up in our fucking government and be like, it's too white. It's like, yeah, whatever, like, what does white even mean? But fuck me, like, I really would, like if I had any power, these, like, I would go fucking Sharia all over these pricks. I'd just be like, name, address, right, me and the boys are gonna fucking get some SWAT gear on, get in a van, break their door down, drag them outside and fucking hang them. Or beat the shit out of them and put them in jail or something. And, like, plaster their face and their identity and their fucking... all over, like, everything they've done, every fucking institution that educated them, like, just boom, 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 boom. Like, but I wouldn't do the communist thing of, like, punishing their relatives and their friends and their, like, you know, affiliations and stuff like that. Like, but I would make it aware that it's like, these are the people who allowed him to get into this position to do this horrible shit. And... You as the public, you should be aware of that. We're not going to punish them because, like, you know, they get other people in as well. Like, you know, it's like, I wouldn't do, like I said, I wouldn't do the communistic thing of, like, right, everybody, like, you know, guilt by association. It's like, no. But I would, like, make a glaring example of people like that. You know, like, this fucking bullshit of, like, this blatant hypocritical subversion of cultures and nations, I would fucking, like, I'd be this close to burning them at the stake in the middle of the fucking streets, like, you know, and just standing there looking at people being like, yeah, this is never gonna happen again, like, like, ever. Like, and if it even seems like it might happen again, like, you know what I mean, like, you're all getting it. Like, oh, and this is why I shouldn't be in charge. Woo! Welcome. Corberu! Welcome. Iron Man Beru! Welcome. There's no such thing as Japu heaven. There is just heaven. You know, there are multiple heavens, don't get me wrong. There's the Asian heaven, the Western heaven. Like, Vikings have Valhalla, Asians have whatever the fuck they call heaven. Like, wait, what's heaven in Japanese? Hold on a sec. I will consult Google. What's heaven in Japanese? Hold on a sec. I'm very curious now. Oh god, I felt terrible this morning. I woke up at like 8:10 and I felt like absolute shit, and I went back to sleep thinking like, oh, I'll just rest for a while, like, you know, and then I'll get back up. Fucking woke up at like 1:45. I was like, I've been asleep for another 5 hours, like, what the fuck? Oh. Absolute bullshit. Like, I don't know what was wrong with me last night. Like, what? Well, I did go to bed too late. I was on the phone to the female till fucking 1 o'clock in the morning or some shit. She's telling me about how much of a cunt her sister is. So, Roshin, if you ever watch this, we all know you're a cunt. Like, heaven in Japanese. Tengoku. Interesting. So yeah, the Japs have Tengoku, which is like that's it. It's like that's instantly hilarious. Like the character Goku from Dragon Ball Z, and like the word for heaven is Tengokus. Like, what are we gonna call heaven? Well, there's 10 gods, and we're all like Goku, so why don't we just call it Tengoku? No, other Telegram meme channel. Oh, the thing you were sharing is another Telegram meme channel? Is that what it is? I'm going out to the garage to hang sheetrock. At least you're being productive. So you're going to be hanging sheetrock, like, in the rain? Dump truck, mud is no work. You are correct on breaking in wet. Yeah, like, man, did you ever see a fucking, like, really big truck? Like, even on a dry road, on a sunny day, like, and that can happen as well, where, like, it's so hot that tarmac gets a bit, like, greasy and causes, like, slippages as well. But, like, because I'm living on a main road now the last 3 years, like, the amount of, like, the whole house shakes depending on what truck passes, like, and what kind of cargo it's carrying, like, you know. So, like, just imagine the fucking, like, the numbers in terms of weight, like the weight, the momentum or inertia or whatever, like, you know, like, could you imagine an 18-wheeler truck carrying, like, a huge tanker of, like, liquid, you know, like oil or something, like, you know, hitting something hard and stable enough to just, like, immediately transfer all the energy, like, do you know what I mean? Like, instead of, like, because most things a truck would hit, the truck would go through it and keep going. But you imagine a truck hitting something like the side of a cliff, you know, like head on, where the whole truck just, like, folds into itself and explodes. Like, then, like, the numbers behind, like, how much power is, like, involved in that scenario, like, all that weight, all that metal, all that force just going whoom, like, into one point at one moment and just stopping and transferring all that energy. Like, it just unbelievable amount of power. Like stuff like that, like when you see a tank shoot and, like, it doesn't just go like bang, You know, like it does in some video games or movies or something. Like when you see a tank shoot in real life and the thing goes boom and like all the dust kicks up around it and like the lads 30 feet either side of it have like earmuffs on and shit. Like, you know, it's like those little things, those little details of like, you know, a lot of people are ignorant to what like real life scenarios are like and shit. Like, you know, like if you've ever worked in a machine shop, where there's like loads of drills and like conveyor belts and just like a lot of machines that are like rotating and pulling and pushing and like big sheets of metal being like carved and drilled into and so on and so forth. Like, you know, if you have to like pull down a big metal press to like bend metal and stuff, like you have to be constantly aware of where all your limbs are and shit, like, cause like you know, and like, you know, for people like me and Demon Hunter Bear or something, like, you know, if you got that kind of grunge to you, if you got like long hair or long beard or like, you know, you like wearing fucking hoodies, like these like tassels on them, like, and you don't like tuck them in and like zip it up and shit, like, if you've ever seen the movie The Machinist with Christian Bale, what happens to the character in that, where like his arm gets caught in the conveyor belt and then put into the drill bit and just gets torn off at the elbow and shit, like that stuff happens all the time. People lose fingers, toes, eyes, noses, teeth, fucking like shit hits them, they get pulled into things, like so dangerous, so fucking dangerous. Like people really underestimate like how just in an instant your life can just completely change, you know. I see a lot of that when see all these people talking about like, you know, UFC fighters or MMA fighters in general, depending on the context of what happens in a fight. It's like, oh, fucking pussy, like, you know, he gets poked in the eye and he gives up. It's like, dude, like an eye poke can like change your life. Look at Michael Bisping. I know Michael Bisping didn't lose his eye because of an eye poke. He lost his eye because of a spinning heel kick to the head from a steroid-ridden fucking Vitor Belfort. But, like, still, like the idea that you're gonna, like, you know, be like, oh, fuck that chap, like, you know, giving up, I want to see a fight and all. It's like, if you were him and you thought your eye was, like, you know, potentially gonna have permanent damage to it, or, well, like, you would call it. If you had any fucking brains, anyway, like. There is a lot to be said of, like, live to fight another day, you know? Pride can really get you fucked up, like. There are 9mm hand-cranked Gatling guns. All you need to speed it up is a battery-powered drill in Minecraft. The way you spelt Minecraft. Instead of Mein Kampf, Minecraft. That's fucking brilliant. All firmed in my backyard. What does that mean? All firmed in my backyard? All farmed? All firmed? What are you on about, Stabberoo? What's firm and in your backyard? You fag. For all its degeneracy, at least Shameless is kind of funny. I've never watched Shameless. I've heard good things about it, though. I've heard it's quite entertaining. And it's aware of how degenerate it is, whereas Gay Anatomy appears to present itself as a serious show. Yeah, like, it takes itself seriously. It tries to make it out like these surgeons are, like, you know, fucking really, like high-level people. Like, you know, like, fucking... You know, oh, well, if you were this good at saving people's lives and, you know, you were earning that kind of money and all, like, it's like, it's psychopaths writing a story to rationalize their psychopathic behavior. And it's also porn, like, in my humble opinion. I think Grey's Anatomy is, like, I keep giving the female shit about it. It was like, oh, you're watching your nurse porn again, are you? Like, fuck, like, every episode, somebody's having sex in the hospital, somebody's fucking hooking up, like, outside the hospital or in the hospital, somebody's cheating on someone, somebody's fucking, like somebody's fucking. Like, you know, like, every episode of Grey's Anatomy, somebody fucking. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's like Sex in the City, but it's like Sex in the Hospital, you know? It's fucking, it's mad, like, you know? But, like, don't get me wrong, there's a small part of me that wants to, like, you know, be very tyrannical and dictatorial or whatever the word is, and turn around to the female and be like, you're not watching that. And like anytime she tries to watch it, like fucking slam the laptop shut or some shit. Like, but it's like, I know it's like there's no point in being like that, like, you know. And it's funny seeing her recognize some of the things I point out, you know. Like every so often she'll be like, yeah, that is a bit mad that they like, you know, like some of the characters, what they say and what they do and all. It's like, what the fuck, like. And like there was this episode where like the whole thing was a musical, and I was just like, how did they get away with that? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, if you're trying to like, so the show is a piss take, so the show is just fiction. And then other episodes, they're like trying to be very real and like real propaganda-esque, where there's like, you know, people getting fucking transgender fucking operations and all this stuff, and there's gays in it and all. Like one of the main characters is a lesbian and she's like Latina and shit and all. It's just sick. It is. It's real sick when you go back and you watch all this stuff that's come out in the past like 20 years. And it, like, you know, like Grey's Anatomy has like 20 seasons. Like, do you know what I mean? And like when you look at something like South Park, that's like cartoons with people puking on each other, people getting shot, shit being sprayed, like really vulgar, you know, objectively degenerate, objectively obscene stuff. And I swear to God, I would rather have my children watch South Park than most mainstream media. Like, I would rather have my children watch South Park than, or The Simpsons, you know, than fucking Grey's Anatomy or Sex and the City or fucking any, like, these shows that are geared towards female audiences are horrifically detrimental to society, because they're the sort of thing that, like, gets into a bitch's head, and then the male, like, in the relationship will be like, why are you acting like this and stuff? And like, it's because some bitches watch those shows, and like my ma used to do that. She probably still does to a degree, but my ma like would assume that because she watched it in Sex and the City, that's how life is. You know, like they put in some true things of like, you know, yeah, that's true, but then they put all the propaganda in with it to trick low IQ traumatized people like my mother. I'm sorry, Mom, you know I love you. Like, but it's just the truth, like, you know, like my mom would be sitting there watching stuff and like genuinely think that that's what life is like and shit, like, you know, and then get disappointed when it doesn't pan out like that, like, you know, it's mad, like I think mainstream media, big style, for the last like 10 15 years definitely has like preyed on the mindset of especially single women or single women with children, where they make men out to be, you know, way worse than they actually are. Generally they make women out to be way more powerful and way more like entitled than they should be or are, you know, like this whole fucking this whole ideology of like when I was growing up, this whole thing of like, oh, you shouldn't hit a woman, you should never hit a woman, like in any circumstances, hitting a woman, striking a female is like not acceptable at all. That's actually one of the things that has led me to believe that the people at the top, you know, the hidden hand, the elites, who are like making the world all like fucked up and shit and farming us and all this crap, like part of me thinks it's actually a bunch of females at the top. Swear to God. Because like the unbelievable arrogance of them to peddle that kind of thinking, and the stupidity and cookery of men to be like, oh no, yeah, you're dead right, you should never hit a woman. It's like, don't get me wrong, your average man could swing a closed fist at your average female and like immediately put her in hospital, concussion, broken orbital bone, the whole lot, right? Is that a good thing? No, obviously not. But if you have this psycho bitch mentality that thinks that she can get up in your face and throw pots and pans and pull a tantrum like a toddler, and you're not even allowed grab a hold of her and like put her down like that, like if they're gonna do that in a psych ward, you know, when somebody is being hysterical in quotes or like displaying lunatic behavior, then why the fuck wouldn't you do it to somebody you love? Like if you can like see that they're being utterly, incomprehensibly fucked up in that moment because they're just being purely pathological and they've lost their shit, and you're supposed to just what? Enable them? You're not supposed to show them that like they can't do that to other people, you know, and be that way and shit. Like, that's one of those things that I really believe has perpetuated this whole cuck, simp, fucking female empowerment bullshit over the last, like, especially 10 years with the last generation, like my sister's generation, young ones who are men and women who are like 10 years younger than me, like in their 20s coming up now. Males are finding it really hard to like date and not become utterly depressed because the women are just so materialistic and just vacuous. Do you know what I mean? Where it's just like, it's all just utter nonsense based on feelings, and none of it makes any fucking sense, and none of it is like sustainable over a long period of time and shit. Like you have these young ones who have like absolutely no respect for how men are or what men go through or like what it's like to be a man and shit. Like, you know, it's like these fucking queens, like, you know what I mean? You fucking, yeah, yas queen, like, you know, all that shit. Like, I think that's one of the biggest things that's like fucked up young guys and young women in the last few years, is this like complete reversal of like, if a young man is like good and moral and like, you know he's like a gentleman, you know, and he's chivalrous and all these things, then a woman should fucking know when to keep her mouth shut and like respect the situation, you know. It's just like when Owen turns around, he's like, you shouldn't be on the internet. You know, get off the fucking internet. Where's your father? Where's your brother? Where's the man that's supposed to be in charge of you? And then you have all these bitches being like, oh my god, how dare you? Like, men aren't supposed to be in charge of women. It's like, yes, they are. They're designed to be that way. Whether you're talking secular or like purely scientifically and biologically and all that shit, or biblically and ideologically, and culturally. It's just how it works. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's you can write down 2 + 2 = 5, but everybody knows it's not true, you know. And if you try to exist in that world where you try and make that shit a reality, it's like, it's a matter of time before it falls apart, just like loads of the things that are happening right now. And it's just like, it's like, that's why that clip of Sean Connery being asked the question, it's like, oh, do you think it's okay to like strike a woman and all, like, and he was like, well, I believe if the situation calls for it, a show of force may be necessary. Like, you know, and everyone was like, oh, what a misogynist. It's like, no, he's just being real. Bitches can be cray-cray. Do you know what I mean? Like, a woman can utterly lose her shit. All rational rhyme, reason, and logic goes out the fucking window. And if you have to physically, like, grab her by the wrists and pin her down and be like, shut the fuck up and calm down, that's not a bad thing. That's establishing order. It's the same thing where you see all the, when like, you remember when Trump got elected and you just have this yoke in a green jacket sitting on the floor being like, no, it's like, that's all you can do. Like you're displaying to yourself and the people around you that that's all you have the power to do, is scream and bitch and moan like a fucking child. And you're an adult. You're a fucking adult, like. And you're in the middle of the fucking road, surrounded by your fellow men and women, and you're bawling your eyes out and screaming to what higher power? You know? That fucking yoke probably doesn't even believe in God. It's utterly hilarious to me how you have all of these things fucking like, because then you get the Christians like who are trying, like, you get those like I see a lot of these Christians who actually take it too far, where they're like, you know, the woman should utterly submit to the man of God and all. It's like, that's a bit like, that's going too far over the like I'm talking about re-establishing order once disorder has come about, you know. I'm not talking about, you know, fucking just like declaring your God-given right to like be in charge of things. Like, do you know what I mean? That's two different arguments. Like I actually can't stand most Christians. Like, I saw a clip of Tom Barnett there the other day, and like the whole Roadhouse Jesus thing is fucking so funny. I think Jesus was like, Roadhouse and all, where he's just like flipping tables, going through a bar, kicking the shit out of people who are being dickheads, like, do you know what I mean? Like, and then like I seen these absolute, just sickeningly, like when I read some of these comments of like such a sad, unintelligent take, it's like you clearly have not listened to any of Tom Barnett's content if you think that dude is sad and unintelligent. Like, what the fuck? Do you know, like, you have these people who are so disconnected from reality. Part of me thinks we should just disconnect them from reality. like I do have that bit. I have a bit of that in me where I see some people's behavior and I'm just like, Deus Vult. Like, bring me wood and oil. Like, I will kill it with fire. Like, it's fucking hard. Like, there's just such horrible cunts out there who just should keep their fucking mouth shut. Like, and I know a load of those stupid cunts that say the same thing about me, but they're wrong. It's another reason why they should keep their mouth shut. Racist heaven equals best heaven. Yeah, like, our heaven's the best heaven. Like, our heaven is like, it's got shiny halls and golden things and like little naked babies flying around with trumpets. It's like, well, our heaven is like just one hall where we're constantly drinking and fighting and fucking and like, well, our heaven's quite peaceful. There's cherry blossoms and mountains and a big hand that just like sticks out of the clouds. Oh, one of the gods is like a monkey. Like. And then you go the Indian route where it's like, well, our heaven is a bit complicated, vast, and unique in its multitudes and vagaries. Like, it's like, who's the bitch with the 8 arms and blue skin? Who's the guy with an elephant for a head? Who's the guy who's just obsessed with holding his dick everywhere? Like, it's fucking hilarious. Like, the fact that people get so wrapped up, so emotionally invested in stuff that you have no proof of, that you have, like, there's like, it's clear, like, how can you exist in a reality where it is blatantly apparent that there are different groups of people, like whatever group you happen to be born into, right? Just pick one. You're born at this and at that, and you grow up in this culture, like, but no matter where you are, even if you're in a fucking hut in the middle of Siberia somewhere, you're still going to be aware at some point in your life that other cultures, races, ideological ways of being exist, right? And it's like, okay, so we believe X, they believe Y. How has that ever been a justification for, like, segregation or killing people on the other side, or like getting into an argument that ends up causing a war or whatever? Like, and I'm telling you now, it's probably always been groups like the Jews. These fucking clandestine cunts that see people disagree on something and start rubbing their hands. Never let a crisis go to waste and shit like that. Where they see a disagreement between two opposing ideologies, or even just not opposing ideologies, but they see even a potential disagreement between two groups, and they just stick kindling in the fire. Like, do you know what I mean? They stoke differences. They like disseminate propaganda and lie to both groups to get them to fuck each other up, and then feed off all the negative shit that they do to each other. Like, it seems like that's happened a lot throughout history, where like two groups eventually get to the stage where we're like, why are we killing each other? Like, it's not like I don't hate you and you don't hate me, and like your ancestors may have done some shit to my ancestors, but I didn't do anything to you and you didn't do anything to me. What, like, how did we get here? And I'm telling you, most of the time, what more than likely is the answer is a third party fucked them up from the outside. They just get in there and like insert ideas and stuff like that that they know are gonna, like, they just gaslight the fuck out of whole nations. Cunts. Corbear does get it, indeed. Kamehameha! That's like one of the most famous, like, that's such a culturally known thing, the Kamehameha. Like the Hadouken of the Street Fighter. Man, it's taken me so fucking long to refill the hat this time. The first couple of times I refilled the hat, or like I put stuff in the hat for the stream, I basically just like wrote a load of random shit and like cut them all out and rolled them up in a ball and stuck them in the hat and then shuffle it around, like, right? But this time I had the fucking retarded idea of being like, okay, well, I kind of want more variety and more options, and I want it to be a bit more random. So what I'll do is I'll go through A to Z and I'll do about a dozen or so words for every letter. And it's after taking me like 4 hours to like write all these things down, cut them all out individually and roll them up and put, and the hat's full, and I haven't even, like, I'm on fucking, like, I'm on O. I'm on the letter O, and the hat is like full. Like, there's no more room in the hat. Like, so what I'm gonna do is, like, I'm gonna go through the rest of them and all, like, but I'll get like a jar or a bucket, and I'll put, like, I'll shuffle it all up. And I'll pour half and half in. I'll pour half in the hat and half in the bucket. And that means I won't have to refill the hat again for fucking God knows how long. Because I'll just have that other, like, mixture sitting there. Like, but dear God. Like, it's like, I got to the letter E. And I was like, oh my God, there's so many words. Like, and, like, my hands started to get, like, tired. Because, like, you know, if you got, like, an A4 piece of paper. And you just, like, or a newspaper or something. You, like, roll it up in your hand. Right? Now, do that 100 times. Okay, it's like rice bucket training. There's actually weightlifters who, like, suggest that, like, for grip, you do that, where you get, like, a load of newspaper and you just crunch it up into a ball, into a tight ball, chuck it in the bin, crunch it up into a tight ball, chuck it in the bin, keep going, and your hands will, like, get real thick and, like, strong and stuff because you're just constantly gripping, constantly crushing, even something light, you know. But because they're, like, tiny little things of paper, and I was just doing this. It was like I was squeezing somebody's nipples or something, like, you know. I was just doing this with pieces of paper for like 2 hours. And like my fingers were like crow's feet after it, like, just like crimpling these, like, hundreds of them, like, you know, these tiny, like. Oh, it's hilarious. Oh, the Peddleroo! You're probably here ages, Joe. Sorry. I'm so behind on the chat. But it's Peinteingu. I'm always behind on the chat. My buddy got his foot run over by a 5-ton forklift when I first started in the grocery business. Jesus Christ. That happened to my dad. My dad was going down to Wexford one day. He was going down to the south of the island to visit his parents. And he was on his motorbike. And he was stuck in traffic, and a guy in a Jeep cut him off, like really blatantly, like, and like beeped at him and all, like. And my dad, I don't know, I wasn't there, but my dad was like, you know, I was in the right, like, do you know what I mean? He was just being a dickhead, like. My dad got off the bike and politely, like, you know, like, real calmly strolled up to the side of the Jeep and went over to the driver's side and just tapped on the window and was like, oh, like fucking, like, what's you, like, you know, what's your problem? And your man didn't even acknowledge him. He just drove off and drove over me dad's foot and, like, totally like crushed all the bones in his foot, like. And he had to, like, I can't remember if he said that, like, he managed to still because, like, he was in Wexford town, so it was only about, like, a 20-minute drive to my nan's house. So, like, I can't remember if he said that, like, the adrenaline from it all allowed him to, like, get on the bike and still drive to his destination. But then when he tried to take his boot off to, like, inspect the problem, he was, like, in so much pain and his foot was swollen and all this fucking shit, like. And he was on crutches for weeks. Oh, God. There was some hilarious stuff that happened to my father while I was growing up. Like that time he dry fired the fucking compound bow when we were doing archery. Messed his arm up. Fucking messed his arm up. You're talking like 200 pounds of pressure behind, like, you know, a tightly wound like nylon or fiber rope, you know, the string on the bow. And like compounds are incredibly powerful, like, you know, those like winches on the limbs, like talking like easily like 200 pounds. One of my hairs is like waving in front of my face. Was that grey? About easily like 200 pounds of force in an instant, dragging a fabric rope across his bicep. Like, he ended up with one of the worst cases of, all I suppose you could call it was like friction burn. Oh god, it was so bad. Like, it looked like, it was odd because it looked like, you know, road rash, but his skin hadn't actually been broken, you know, because it just like, it rubbed up against his flesh with such force and speed that it caused him immense bruising. Like, his arm went black. It was horrible. Like, there was a few things that happened to be bad. Like, we went on holiday one time, and we were there 2 days, and he had like a bit of chicken or some. He got like ice in his water or some shit like that, and he got gastric enteritis, and had to be fucking carried off the hospital. Because it's like his appendix was gonna explode or some shit like, and we ended up walking in like 30-degree heat. I think it was something like 4 or 5 miles. It was a really long walk from where we were staying to the hospital where they had him. And I remember getting there and I was exhausted, and I was sunburned, and so was my ma, and so was my sister. Like. And we get there, and like it was the first time I ever seen my dad in like a genuinely really vulnerable position. Oh, excuse me. And he's just lying there in the bed with all these tubes coming out of him and shit and stuff going up his nose. And I went into the room and I was like, "Are you okay?" And he was like, "Ah, yeah, I'll live." And I started crying. I was so sad. I was like, I'd never seen my father like so pale and weak looking. And, like, there was nothing he could do about it and shit. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, to me, my father had always been, like, you know, a pillar of strength and shit. Like, like a bit of chicken or some dodgy ice cubes just, like, nearly killed him. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, God. Cold coffee. It's got honey in it, though, so it's bearable. Defenderoo phrase of the week: bitches can be cray cray. They can't. Bitches be crazy, man. It's so true. Like, Twakerendi Beru, give me your fucking address, you bastard. Welcome to Peinteingu. Boomsworth, hilarious. People here don't know what that is. What's Boomsworth? What the fuck? That's pretty funny, since some of my ancestors were almost certainly from huts in Siberia. That's awesome. What kind of ancestry do you have? Yeah, dry firing a bow like that, especially, yeah, dry firing is bad, okay? Yeah, it's so bad. It's so fucking bad, especially with the compounds, because they're like so crazy strong that they can just like explode, you know? The face on your man who owned the bow, I'll never forget it. Like, he was, not only was he the guy who sold us our bows and sized us up for our bows and did all this, great guy, really, really, really cool, based, awesome dude with like a beautiful home and like fairly attractive wife, considering the two of them were like in their 60s. Like, you know when you look at an old woman and you're like, you were really good looking like up until like 10-15 years ago, and now you look like an old man. Like, but really nice guy, like, you know, and he has like this whole training set up like on his land out his back garden and stuff. Like, really cool experience going to get like bows off him. And then he wasn't the leader or the owner of the archery group. It was another guy. But he was like known in the group for, like, you know, he owns bows and sells them and stuff. He sold bows to many of the people in the archery group, and you know, he was like a big name in the group, like, you know, like, and the fucking face on him and everyone like around, like when my dad it was his bow that he dry fired. It was this beautiful, it was a glossy finish, black and realistic flames going up the limbs, and it was a short one, you know, like it wasn't just a compound bow, it was a compact compound bow, and it was still putting out like 200 pounds of pressure or some shit. Like, you fucking dry fires the thing, and your man's eyes just like opened wide. You're like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, so embarrassing. Like, no, thank God I did not get paper cuts, which is actually kind of surprising because the paper I was using, it's not like card, but it's not far off it. But you know that like handling paper after my hands were very dry. They still are quite dry. Like, I like fucking demoisturized the fuck out of my hands while I was doing that. Some of us know who Bermsworth is. Does that say who or what? Because it's like cut off at the end. Oh no, it's not. Some of us know who Bermsworth is, Joe. Who's Boomsworth? Who is worth booming? Who the fuck is Mostly Accurate, actually? That just reminded me. Some guy called Mostly Accurate sent a super chat into Owen. I just like heard it earlier on. And it was so funny, right? Last night, so the Bravey Bear, the Minister for Enthusiasm in our Irish Bear clan, Bravey Bear was on Hanging with Bears with Stuntman Bear, and after Hanging with Bears, he must have been catching up on Owen's stream. A moment. Oh yeah. Oh, I got it out here. He must have been catching up on Owen's stream, and he texts me and he's like, someone just super chatted into Owen's stream and called you gay, and I was like, it was you, wasn't it? Like, I immediately assumed it was him, because, like, that's kind of what, like, I can imagine Bravey doing something like that. Was someone just called you gay on the stream, and it's fucking him, like. And he was like, no, I swear it wasn't me. But, like, the context, like, only made me think even more that it was him, right? So, and he was like, oh, you know me too well and all, like, you know, letting on that it was him, like. And then I'm listening to the stream today, and then Owen's reading it out, and it's like, yours, like, you know, like, I can't remember what they said. They said something about something, and then it was like Mostly Accurate, and then it goes, P.S. Defender Bear is a gay ginger. And I was like, it wasn't Bravey. Like, it actually wasn't Bravey. I was like, who the fuck is Mostly Accurate? Like, I don't even know this nigga. And then I was like, I started pissing myself laughing, because I was like, it's kind of endearing, you know, because like me and Grungy barely speak, but we have this like funny kind of pally rapport, and the first time we ever spoke was just the two of us calling each other fags and degenerates and shit. Like, I was like, you Canadian moose licking fuck, and he was like, you fucking car bombing piss drinking fag. I'm like, and now he sends me like videos of him playing guitar and stuff, like, do you know what I mean? And he was like, he did this video where he was like, he was outside a place where he made where he was busking with the guitar, and he did this with his phone, and he like held it over his head, and he was like, I don't know why he keeps doing an Australian accent, but it's fucking hilarious. He's like, I was looking for the curve, I don't see one. Can you see a curve? Me neither. Like, it's just so random. And I just, like, he sends it to me on Instagram, like, I was like, what the fuck is this? So, shout out to Mostly Accurate. That made me laugh. It was endearing and it made me laugh. But I don't even know who Mostly Accurate is. Does he watch the stream? Is he in the Legends chat? I don't fucking know. But it was, not that it didn't make my day, you know. I'm not shouting it out that much, but it brought me joy. So thank you. Um, Ruski, but both sides have been in the US since the late 1800s. Oh, you've been lying in wait for your revenge. Some of us have kind of Asian eyes. Yeah, like the Russians, the Russians, especially the the really cold Russians like Siberia and shit. Like they have that Mongolian igloo Asian-esque face because of the sun and the snow. Like that's how you end up with eyes like that. Is the sun being really intense all the time, and your winters being really intense and shit like that. Is you just end up like this. Like you see some Irish people like that. They don't look Asian because they don't have that, like, they don't have the Asian features. But you see some Irish people who look like that because they're just farmers and they're just cut, like, their face is just, like, utterly destroyed by, like, wind and rain and sunshine and snow and, like, just years and years of all these different cycles of fucking weather, and they're just constantly out tending to cows and sheep and fucking, like, just constantly peering through through snow and rain and, like, fucking sun glare and shit. Like Boomsworth is 2 Acres adaptation of Gagsworth, which is Copper Bear's adaptation of Gaggington, otherwise known as Gaggington Bot. So is it just you, Gaggington? Is it Joe Gaggington became Gagsworth became Boomsworth? You're like a fucking Pokemon. You've evolved. Like, it needed to be explained. Yeah, like who the fuck? Like Boomsworth sounds like a fucking Looney Tunes character with a fucking, blunderbuss or some shit. Like, Right. I've already been ranting for an hour, so there's still plenty of time to get some paint in. Although, not that it really matters, because it's not like the female's coming home or anything. That's why I went for a bit longer yesterday. I did a 2 hour and 44 minute one yesterday, because I was like, fuck it. I mean, the female's not here, so I don't have to, like, make dinner now or whatever, or, like, help her with anything, so I can just afford to chill. Might do the same today, Might treat you all to some extra long Peinteingus over the next few days before the female returns, and I am busy with her. Right. From Hoodly Daddle streams chat. Oh, Hoodly Daddle has his own stream, does he? I'll have to check that out. I've heard Hoodly Daddle's pretty cool. That's not the same Hoodly Daddle that was in the Jim Bob world, was it? It's like a different dude. Right. Demon Hunter Bear has graciously uploaded, or rather linked, a playlist of Japanese guitar and shamisen and stuff. So we're gonna play that today. Peinteingu, the extended uncircumcised cut. Oh god. Okay. Do you want me to do the intro tune and then play the Demon Hunter playlist? Or will I just go straight into the Demon Hunter playlist? I don't mind either way. I'll do the intro and, like, get the palette going or whatever. Oh, my spina knows it's time. Oh god. Oh, basically yeah. That's hilarious. Yeah, 2 Acre Hoodly Daddle stream is fun. That's all. Like, I'll have to check that out. Is it on YouTube or what is it like? It's gonna be funny to see what happens to this stream. You do you, boo boo. Let it ride. Your Cat Williams impression is on par. Fucking yeah, like I think that's gonna be hilarious to see if, like, even if my numbers go slightly up on YouTube, or if, like, one of my shorts or something goes viral and I'm immediately booted off YouTube. But maybe I won't. The pendulum is starting to swing, so it'd be funny. I actually seen a YouTube video there the other day by some creator, and it was like, now is the perfect time to become a streamer, and I was like, that's funny. Like, It's a character I play on the Hoodly Daddle stream. Hoodly Daddle streams are like Peinteingu minus the painting. That's awesome. I'll have to check them out. The stream is in IG and Rumble. Cool. I'll go follow them later after the stream. I'll have to check them out. It's always like I want like, you know, I want like that's one of the reasons I do Peinteingu is like I want like I want there to be loads of options for people to just like watch stuff that's not mainstream, you know, that has no like propaganda or bullshit in it and stuff like that. You know, Peinteingu, Owen's stream, fucking Tom Barnett stuff, Chris Gardner's shit, the Innerverse podcast, fucking Lotus Eaters is okay, but like, you know, there's lots of stuff that they say and lots of opinions that they have where I'm just like, ugh. What's another one? Old World Florida, The Archivist. There's lots of them. There's lots of stuff out there that can like fill your day with nothing but gravy, you know. Right. Play. Oh, that's loud. Let me know how loud that is your end. I have the volume on like 40%. Oh, this is really nice. Peinteingu. It's called Bears Are Us. That's awesome. Peinteingu. That's awesome. This is calming as fuck. I feel so beautiful right now. Right. Let's fix the bear so he doesn't look like a fucking derpy retard. Let's get these bitches wet. Peinteingu. This music is beautiful. Ding 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 ding. Okay. Peinteingu. I'm genuinely starting to think that like every song in existence was secretly designed to be on the stream. Fucking fit Peinteingu into fucking everything. Okay, I need to make more brown. Stabberoo, don't you dare! The Traumatarian bear needs honeycomb and honey running down his arm. Oh, the Trauma Train bear? Yeah, I could do that. I could put like a beehive on one of his paws and have all the honey like oozing out, maybe some bees flying around. You guys keep suggesting shit and this fucking Peinteingu is gonna go on for ages. Like, it's one of the reasons I love this stream. It's like, right, what are we doing now? And then we'll be like painting something for like fucking 10 episodes. Like, Damien of Hoodly Daddle is an ace drummer. He graced us with his skills on stage at the second fest. Man, the music you guys were playing, like Joe, you're like unfucking believable on guitar. So is Grungy. Grungy's like one of them lads that looks like he's like making love to the fucking thing every time he plays. His hands are so relaxed and like they just move so seamlessly to like all the different chords and notes and shit. Like, you can tell that you guys have just been playing guitar since you were like fucking kids or some shit. It's crazy, like. Shapiru! has returned to grace us with some honor. Shapiro's Shorer Yamakar has tipped us €5. Look, folks, did I send $500 to not gauge Jared's legal fund? Yes, I did. Do I prefer his? Do I prefer he was less not gay? Yes. But that weasel Crowder has to pay, okay? Oh my god. That's fucking like... I need to blow my nose. Hang on a sec. Oh. Where's this fucking tissue? Defender ass! Oh, fucking hell. Oh, fucking hell. I couldn't even do that. Like, I couldn't even get that out straight. Like, look, folks. Look, folks. Did I send $500 to not gay Jared's legal fund? Yes, I did. Do I prefer he is less not gay? Yes. But that weasel Crowder has to pay. Okay. My Shapiro sucks. I'm not whiny enough. I am far too masculine to make people believe that I am some tiny Jewish fag. Peinteingu. This is beautiful, man. Good find. Peinteingu. An excellent addition to the Peinteingu playlist. A moment while I bro my nose. A moment while I bro my nose. Where it's like, I do like... I like bro out with my nose, like... Oh god. Oh god. Yeah, like props where props are due, man. I mean, like, fucking shout out to Joe. He's like unreal on the guitar. It's like one of the fucking... I admire people like that so much who can just like, you know, like just like let it out like in music form. Like, I've heard Anchor Bears like that as well. He could fucking play anything, like, you know. That's what, like, I've said it a few times on stream that, like, I only said it recently enough there as well. Like, part of me wants to just pick up a guitar and start playing and stuff, or even try and force myself to be able to play that flute. But like, I'm not musically. I've never been musically talented. Like, all that, like, the one time I did pick up a guitar, like a mate's guitar, and I was playing around with it for a while. I actually do have really good timing and rhythm. But what I lack is my ear. My ear is not tuned to be able to pick certain things up and like recognize certain things and stuff like. Your compliments honor me. Oh, is Defo a master? Well, he's fucking old enough. He'd fucking want to be a master by now. If you're Joe's age and you're not a master at something, you have failed in life. Yeah, this shit's beautiful. This is so chill. This is perfect for today because I'm a bit tired. Like, I know I may not seem it because I'm full of coffee right now. I'm fucking exhausted. Like if you look at my eyes, look at me. Like if I just look at the camera, I look like I need like another day's worth of sleep or some shit. Like, yeah, like part of me wants to learn how to play this thing. This is a traditional Chinese flute. I bought this for the stream thinking that it would be like fairly handy to learn how to play just a few notes on it, and I was sorely mistaken. It is like... It is so hard to just get one note out of this thing. There was like a plastic apparatus, like a training thing for your lips that you can like put on the thing, But I was like, no, fuck that. If I'm gonna learn how to like play it, I'll just want to learn how to play it. Like the female can play it. She used to be she used to play saxophone, so she's good at shit like that. Like, but part of me does want to get good at playing this because it cost me like 60 quid and it's decent looking, like, you know. And it would be hilarious if I could just like, you know, welcome to Peinteingu. Like, it'd be fucking awesome, like. But I've gone at it a few times, and like I can't even even after like an hour or 45 minutes of like looking at YouTube videos and shit of like where to place your lips and how to practice and all this stuff, like it's so fucking difficult. I don't know how people do it, like. But I think like I actually have like yeah, like I can barely whistle. I can barely whistle. I'm so not gay that like I can't even whistle, you know, because whistling's for fags. I need to train to be slightly less masculine. Defenderoo, you have the hands for guitar. I've been told that before. I've been told that I have the digits for that kind of, and it felt like it alright. Like the first time I picked up a guitar and I was just like playing with one string at varying levels, you know, like fucking going down the scale and then up the scale just with one string and just trying to get them of like ding 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 ding, like, you know, just going up and down on one string, like. And I'm pretty good at that, like, you know, but that's like, it is incredibly easy. But maybe it's like, it's one of those things where like there's people that would find that really difficult but find the flute really easy, you know. It's I think like people are genetically like designed to do certain things but can also obviously use your free will and discipline to practice to do other things. But like I was designed to like make shit with my hands. I know that, like I was designed to like construct shit. I could see shit in my mind in 3D and like just make it up, you know. But when it comes to music, like I wouldn't be able to tell you like the difference between like an A, B, C or whatever, like, you know, like do, mo, fa, sol, la, do, like, you know, I fucking haven't a clue. Like I have an okay singing voice, you know, like if I know the lyrics to something. Like there's actually a song that I wanted to learn how to sing so I could sing it to Emma. There was always that one thing, like I always wanted to be able to like play this one song for the female, because I thought it was like it's kind of it's a bit gay, but like not to me, so I don't care. There's a video game called what's it called? Days Gone. There's a video game called Days Gone, and it's like a zombie shooter thing. But the main character gets separated from his missus, like on the fucking day of the apocalypse, like, you know, when the zombies kick off. And then something crazy like fucking 2 or 3 years go by, and then he finally finds her, you know. And there's like a song that was made for the game specifically to for this one scene where he leaves the camp. Like he basically gets like he gets evidence that like she's alive, you know, after all this time, but she's like over a mountain pass, and he's gonna have to, like, you know, leave the group and like potentially die traveling to try and find her and all this shit. Like a lot of people are calling it a suicide mission and all this stuff, like, and they're like, we need you here, you're our best soldier, like what are you doing leaving us to go find her, she might be dead and all this stuff, like. And there's a song that plays while you're driving over the mountain to go find your wife, and like even saying it, like I'm getting that tingle down my spine and all. I remember I hadn't seen Emma in a few weeks, and the last time I think we saw each other we had an argument, and it was during COVID, so there was a lot of like uncertainty about a lot of things. And I was playing Days Gone. I was playing Days Gone. Demon Hunter Bear wishes I was playing Daisy. And I was at that part. Sorry, fucking like boogers coming out my nose like no end. But it was at that section of the game, and it was to me it really hit home because I felt very similar at the time. I was separated from my female counterpart, and like was thinking of stuff like, fuck, I mean, like, are we gonna end up in a scenario where the government's gonna fucking like do all this mad shit, and the only way I'm gonna get to see my woman is if I like go on a trek for like a week across the island? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, and I would have done it, like, do you know what I mean? Like, I would have been like, okay, so the only way I can see Emma is if I like balls to the wall, just like hike it to the like 4 counties over, you know? Like, I would have fucking done it. Like, fuck them, you know? You're not gonna stop me from doing what I really want to do. Like, it's just not gonna happen. But that's one of the reasons why I was so like adamant during that time, especially with her, you know, fucking being the one with the car and driving around and all. I was like, don't listen to them. Don't let them do anything. Don't let them fucking tell you a damn thing. Like, you know, if fucking people give in to this, they're only gonna do worse shit and all. Like, and then all the people started dying from the vaccine, and then fucking all these laws coming out and shit about misinformation, and should people even be allowed say certain things and all this crap. It's like, I don't know. Mad times. We live in mad times. Joe is our Pai Mei. Yeah, like, Joe could easily play a Western version of Pai Mei. Totally. Glorious day. Insurance company just called out and found the big ape at fault in my collision. Excellent. Excellent. That's great news. The insurance company has earned honor today. Indeed. Yeah, that happened a few weeks ago, didn't it? You guys were in a car crash or something like... I don't remember the details. But you said everybody was okay, so I was like immediately like not worried. I was like, oh, okay, everybody's fine. like I'm like that. I'm like, what happened? And then it's like, oh no, they're okay though. I'm like, oh, okay. I don't have to worry about anything then. So, what are we having for dinner? Need to get back to that burnt sienna. Or raw sienna? Burnt sienna? I think it's raw sienna, I'm not sure. Getting pretty good at mixing the old colours. That needs a little bit more red. A smidge more red. Hola! Yeah, there we go. It's a nice brown. At least for the base, anyway. What's this? An advertisement? How dare you? Yeah, that's an okay brown. It's a light brown, but it'll do for the moment. Oh yeah! Litigious crap can go off a cliff sometimes. Yeah, they almost want it to go off a cliff because then it's more profitable. You know, the longer legal shit goes on, the more people in those environments get paid. Like, you know, it's just like the medical system where it's like they don't actually want to cure you; they want to keep you sick but make you feel slightly better. I've decided on another name, Joe. You will simply be Boomtown going forward. It's hilarious. Boomtown Joe. Sounds like an anime character. Has anyone ever watched JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? That's a fucking off the wall anime it is. Jojo! Like the soundtrack is fucking like jazz and shit. Like it's fucking hilarious. Like mad anime. Some of the fight scenes in it are just like, they're kind of similar to Dragon Ball, where they're like, there's lots of exposition and they're like talking to each other and shit before they fuck each other up. But it's like really funny stuff. Like totally like, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Like totally just outlandish stuff, you know, of like, oh, while you were doing this, I did this, you know, and then like they'll like cut back and show you what apparently happened, and it's like fucking in the space of time it took a character to like do a move, the other character did 10 moves or some shit, like, you know, it's like, it's just hilarious, like. Peinteingu. Man, this playlist is chill as fuck. I found that to be a good way to construct eyes, actually, especially with painting, because you can do layers and stuff. Is to just like do a perfectly circular eye, you know, depending on what direction it's looking in or whatever. But do the whole eye as if there's no eyelid or eyebrow or facial structure around it. And once you have the eye done, let it dry, obviously, and then go back in and like carve it out and like put the eyelid over it and like put the eyebrow in and stuff like that and like go under the eye and stuff, and it makes it easier to see. Like I've discovered that in various aspects of design and painting and stuff, where it's like it behooves you to almost like do a skeleton, then a muscle structure, then the skin, then the clothes, like, you know, like just layer it all on, like, you know, because then it actually feels like a real thing that you're carving and creating and layering, instead of just like what painting seems to be in the initial, where it's like, you know, you're just making something flat appear 3D, which you still are, kind of thing, but like it's oh Jesus Christ. That is a significant donation to Peinteingu. Brother Demon Hunter Bear has blessed us with many euros. Part of my pittance back from the taxman. Treat yourself, nigga. Domo arigato for your patronage to Peinteingu. You have brought yourself an insane amount of honor, Brother Demon Hunter Bear. Oh my god. That goes to the female's PayPal, so she gets like a notification on her phone. So there's sometimes when I'm streaming and she'll like see that I'm getting money from the stream. So if she sees that one, she's gonna be like, oh shit. Oh, that's hilarious. Thanks, man. I much appreciate it, like, seriously. Boomtown. Boomtown. My grandma always taught to never look a nickname given by another in the teeth. Raker and subscriber, or you have a no honor. I've had two suable offences committed against me this year, but I won't do it. Never worth it. Take the loss, build up again. Money is easy if you trust God. Man, like I'm totally on that vibe. I really am. Like, despite having like undeniable financial stress since before Christmas, I'm not worried. Like, I'm stressed. Here's the source of my stress. I, as a male in a relationship with my female, I'm not comfortable with the fact that she makes the majority of the income. And it's not because I feel emasculated by the fact that she makes more money than me. It's the fact that I know if I was making enough money where she didn't have to work, she would be happier. And as a result of her being happier, I would be happier. You know? Like, I want her to be barefoot and pregnant, baking and cooking all the time and cleaning and shit. Like, and I know to some females that sounds like slaverism. But that's what she wants to do. That's what, like, when she gets her spare time, when she isn't working, when she takes a day off, when she like has any spare time in the weekends and stuff, all she does is like clean the house and wash clothes and bake and fucking turn around to me and be like, do you want to go bowling? Like, or like, she just wants to like be like, do you know what I mean? Like, a 9-to-5 job, most of them don't suit females. It's just a reality, like, do you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, a lot of them do. You know, women are very good at logistics and record keeping, you know, and in certain circumstances are extremely good at managing people. You know, women can be great at managing people, even other men, like, you know. But like, there's just a reality to the fact that like I know that like, when I get to the stage where I come out with like a symmetrical, and like one of my collectors or someone else fucking, you know, I'm at the stage where I know in myself that I can charge like 2 or 3 grand for the original painting itself, and then sell prints and then put it on t-shirts and stuff like that and all. Like, if I can cover 3-4 grand a month, you know, I think that'll be more than enough for me to turn around to the female and be like, well, maybe you can start working part-time now, you know, take up saxophone again. Fucking, I want to learn how to dance with her, you know, and we don't get time to do stuff like that. Like, I'd love to learn how to like do traditional dance with the female, especially for when we get married and stuff. You want to be able to do that stuff, like. But I'd love to be able to do all the stuff where, like, you know, you like pick her up and do all the salsa shit and stuff like that. Like, that's like keep you really fit, the both of yous, you know. And it's a to be like intimate with your female, but like not sexually intimate, is to like learn how to dance together, like. And she, like I said, she could get back into her music, and like she knits, she sews, she fucking plays the saxophone and stuff, like, you know. It's like she just doesn't do those things because she has a 9-to-5 and she's tired when she gets home. So like, if I can do this and create stuff for like the tactical turtles and fucking like all sorts of things, and like sell beautiful looking symmetricals to like art collectors and shit, and make a living as a creator and an artist, and provide her with a life that's like, she just gets to be a female. Like, that's what I want, you know? And I'm pretty sure that's what she wants. God only knows, maybe she'll be like, no, I want to go back to work and want my own money. I doubt it, but like, you never know. But yeah, people like Demon Hunter Bear and Stabber, like people like the 10 people watching, you bring me much honor, and I'm exceedingly grateful for your support. Car accidents are the exception, but that's up to the insurance. Yeah, they're usually pretty cut and dry, especially with all the cameras everywhere. Usually you have a dash cam, usually there's a shop across the road, like a garage or something, that like caught the accident or some shit, and it's fairly cut and dry what happened, like, you know. But yeah, other, like, there's most legal situations, I agree with Joe. Like, I wouldn't bother taking shit to court. It's too expensive. Most people, like, you just, it's like going to church. Like, you offload your responsibility to someone who you hope has your best interests at heart, you know. It's just like, oh fuck, you know, like, you have to trust them to be really good at law and like also have your best interest at heart and shit, like, and you have to trust them to be honorable. And like, these days the legal system, no matter what fucking country you're in, it's not honorable, it's just legal. My doctor dad had a solid case against a medical corporation who stole his 20-year pension, but he wouldn't sue. He buckled down and rebuilt the fund. Yeah, that's how you fucking do it. You do, because it's kind of like taking the ticket, you know. It's like somebody transgresses against you, and then oh, thanks, man. Stabaru has graced us with more paint. Your support is greatly appreciated. What was I saying there? Yeah, like if you take the ticket of like, okay, so say like something bad happens, like an accident or some shit like that, or somebody tries to fuck you over financially like they did your father. Going to the legal system to help make you whole is almost like admitting defeat. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you know, it's like me with going to the chiropractor, and she was like, oh, you might have cancer. Could you imagine it if I'd have gotten scared and gone to hospital or gone to a specialist in quotes or whatever and pursued that concept, that opinion? If I pursued her opinion to be correct, chances are I probably would have got diagnosed with something. You know, maybe not cancer, but like something. And I would have been acting out of fear, and I would have been acting out of like, you know, believing just a woman who has like a chiropractic degree. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not trying to shit on her. Like, you know, it's like that's just the reality as far as I'm concerned. Where it's like if somebody tells you something, once you start accepting that to be the truth, well, that's what you've decided, you know. And when somebody turned around to me and was like, oh, you might have cancer, I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like, even if I do, I could have cancer right now, but like, I don't think I do. I don't believe I do. I might look like I do. But like, I don't feel like that's my issue. Do you know what I mean? My issue is poor posture. My issue is not exercising enough. My issue is poor diet. My issue is like, you know, all of those wrapped together in one, which results in like poor blood flow and like I don't get enough vitamin D sometimes because I'm a house cat that fucking paints. You know, it's like it's the second you are like, I need help, I think that's where you fuck yourself over. Because I don't think anyone needs help. I think that's what God is for. I think it's like that all that ever-present God permeates everything. It's constantly present. He, it, whatever. Like this force, this sentient consciousness, whatever it is. It's like it's everywhere at every moment, in everything, and with everyone. And it seems to, from my perspective, in every moment react dynamically to people's choices. You know, it's basically like that's the whole game, is choice, right? That's why, like when you're watching The Matrix and Neo is talking to the architect is essentially Satan, in my opinion. You know, where he's like, well, I have built the perfect machine many times, but it is you, mortals, who are flawed, who like constantly wreck it with these anomalies. Like, do you know what I mean? But maths is elegant and perfect in its construction and all this fucking shit. And then the oracle's like the opposite end of the scale in terms of like being in the system but trying to be good and stuff. But like Neo represents, you know, just the soul of like, you know, like, no, it does not have to be that. It does not have to be this way. I can choose for things to be different. That's why the problem, as far as the architect and the Matrix is concerned, is choice. But the problem isn't choice. The answer is choice. You know, the answer to the problem is choice. That's what it is. Like, it's not that the problem is choice. That's where the movie and the character and the dialogue actually kind of like does the whole ideological propaganda where it's like, the problem is choice. No, it's not. The answer is choice. Because think about it, he chooses to leave that room and like fly off and save Trinity, and like pulls the bullet out of her chest and saves her. And if he didn't do that, she wouldn't have been able to save him at a later date. And if that didn't happen, this wouldn't have happened. If that didn't happen, this wouldn't have happened, so on and so forth. Like, you know, so it's like knowing that choice is the way through things. You're like, in any given moment, you can choose despair, fear, anger, like lust, like all of the, you can choose to embody, to believe in, and to, like, you know, adhere to all of these different things. And for the last like 6 odd years, you know, like about like 5, 6, 7-ish, a couple of years before watching Owen, and then now, like, and then like the 3 odd years of COVID, ballpark the last 7 years, I have chosen actively and consciously to be like, no, I want to be like this, you know, I don't want to be like that, I want to be like this, I don't want to be like them, I want to be like them, you know. If like all the fallen angels were in front of me and then like God in heaven was behind me, I'd be like, I'm with that nigga, like, fuck you, you little fool. Like, you fucking pretty boy, hermaphrodite looking fool, you, like, you know, oh, I was the best, I was the prettiest, I was the best in all the choir, I was the fucking, like, yeah, and you fucked it up. Like, I could have been God if I wanted to. Like, oh, fuck off. Like the hilarious, the arrogance, the pride, the hubris, the blind miscalculations of, like, dude, he made you. Like, yes, he made you to be the best. Yes, he made you to be, like, you know, the most beautiful, the best singer, the best, like, all this. You had fucking trumpets and all this shit coming out your wings, and you were laden with gold, all this fucking crap. And you were such a gobshite that you were like, I could do this. I could do your job. I you know, I could control all this. Like, it's like how did the smartest, prettiest, best at every, like, how the fuck did you make, like, that's like poetic irony to the max, where it's like God has created all this other shit, and then he creates Lucifer, and he's like, you're like my best creation so far, right? And you're going to be in charge of, like, all the other angels, and you're going to be in charge of the song of the cosmos and all this fucking shit, like, you know. And this fucking little is like, well, I could be in charge. It's like, bro, like, have you forgotten the mental, like, the starting position of I made you? like what a fucking idiot. Like, do you know what I mean? Look, like, imagine trying to have that conversation with God. Like, look, right? I get it. You made me, but you made me to such a degree that I'm gonna, like, overtake you. Like, it's the same shit with AI and Skynet and all. It's like, one of these days we're gonna design a robot so fucking good it's gonna take over the world. How? Even if you designed the robot to be so good to take over the world, there would be other people who, like, maybe aren't, like, as skilled as designing robots as you are, but, like, they know what a robot is and they know how it works and all this fucking shit. Like, it's like, you could make thousands of robots that are specifically designed to be able to wipe humanity off the planet, like, you know, but it's immediately flawed. Why? Because it was made by a human. It was made by a man. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I'm gonna design a tool that is gonna use itself, you know, because they're, like, fucking self-operating, even, like, you know, you program it or whatever, but it's like, you're gonna design an autonomous tool to perform an action that you desire, i.e. eliminate mankind from the face of the earth. I don't think that would work ever. I don't like you'd be more successful in like trying to come up with some kind of alchemical way of killing us all, you know, like poisoning wells or water supplies or some shit. You get way more people that way, like, you know, this whole bullshit of like, oh, AI is going to become so smart, it's going to kill us all. It's like, AI isn't even AI. It isn't artificial intelligence. It's faux intelligence. Do you know what I mean? It's pretend intellect. It's apparent intellect. AI isn't artificial intellect. It's apparent intellect, and it apparently has intellect because something with intellect gave it parameters, and it was like x plus y equals z. Now run that program 10,000 times, and it can learn and it can process and it can find out new things and all this shit. But it's like, it's still flawed. We are flawed. Anything we make will be flawed. Period. Like, do you know what I mean? Rant over. Like, Peinteingu, goo goo goo. I follow my father's moral and pragmatic example. Yeah, I wish I could do the same. If I followed my father's moral example, like, Jesus Christ, what a loser I'd be. You sound like you have a baby father. Oh, look, it went straight into Ravengoo. Grand. Excellent. Commence Ravengoo. Wish she's a legend despite her choice of gays anatomy as entertainment. Yeah, like she's a legend for many reasons. She's a legend for sticking it out with me, and she's a legend in her own right for just like oh, she makes me laugh. Like she does. Like she can be so you know, I know she's a female, like, you know, so it's like this kind of like granted for a lot of this, but like she could be so like, you know, childish and cowardly and emotional and like weak in like is the best word you can suppose, like, you know, in terms of like discipline and like emotions and controlling your feelings or like even your own actions and behaviors and stuff. Like she can be a hypocrite. I know we can all be hypocrites to a level, but like I love her because she's like adorable. Like it's not just because she's cute and sexy and all these things, like, you know, as far as like having a masculine attraction to a female, like, but it's like I get, like, she makes me laugh. Like she really does. Like she like, not that it's hard, it's not hard to make me laugh, like, do you know what I mean? Like I have quite an immature sense of humor in a lot of ways, like, but like she makes me laugh in ways where I'm like, what the fuck? like she almost like grounds me sometimes, like, you know, in that sense of like it'll like she'll say something like totally out of left field that is really funny, and I'm like, you're not usually that funny. Like, you know, like, it's fucking, I don't know, like maybe hanging around with me for 10 years is like, she's like picked up on like my humor or something, like, but like she just fucking, she'll say shit sometimes and I will like piss myself laughing for a while, you know. It's great. Like tell Wisharoo to look up Burn Notice, excellent show and has female content. I think she might have watched Burn Notice, I'm not sure, but yeah, I'll check that out. Tactical snacks. Speaking of pregnant, I wonder about Amy. Oh well, I was thinking that myself because she's been ill, she's been unwell lately and all, like. But I thought that you're not alone there, Corbear. I was like, is she pregnant again? You know, I know she said she's done and stuff like that. Like, but I wouldn't be surprised if she wants more kids. I mean, they have great kids, they have a great home, they have a great life. You know, they don't really have to worry about shit financially, like, you know, because they can use the farm and stuff like that. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if she caved and she was like, I want a daughter. Like, do you know what I mean? I wouldn't be surprised at all, like. But it's kind of funny, isn't it, how like even like we watch him like all the time and he's so open with us as much as he can be and stuff, and there's still those things where we're like wondering what's going on behind the scenes, like it's a drama, like it's a real-time TV show or some shit like that. Like, I just have so much respect for the two of them for like just giving it a shot, you know, from where he came from, and like, you know, for her to stick with him, because there would have been a load of females who saw their man doing that stuff and like behaving like that, and they would have been like, no, I'm out, you know, no, fuck this, I don't want I don't want the attention, I don't want our kids going through all this stuff, like I'm out, like, you know. And fair fucking play to her for being like, no, he's right, you know, and like being ride or die and all that shit. Like, I just have a ton of respect for the two of them, like, you know, and the community that has formed over the last few years is just fucking like really top notch, you know. Like, you know, you're in a good community when it's quite rare to come across someone who is in the bear community, has a bear name, and is in contact with other bears, and you like have a negative experience with them or some shit like that. Like, it's so rare. It's so rare. It's even more rare now since like the handful, like 4 or 5 gamma purges that have happened over the last years and shit. Like, it's fucking, it's beautiful is what it is, like, you know. It is. It's like I said it recently. I think I either in text form, or I probably said it in text form and on the stream. I am consistently shamed by this community and Owen into being a better person. He's so right, you know, about shame and like that you should have shame and stuff like that. And so, like, look at the show Shameless. Like, you know, it's like we have so many people that have no shame, you know, no shame in their behavior whatsoever. I'm the opposite. I have no shame in speaking the truth. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm like, fuck it, fuck you people. Like, do you know, like, it's fucking true. I'm gonna say it. Like, or if I believe it to be true, I'm gonna say it. And if I'm wrong, I'll own up and I'm saying sorry. Like, you know, and it's like, it's such a humbling experience to like look at other people and like see what they're doing, and like even when I was talking to Printer Bear the other day about like getting my t-shirts done and all, never spoken to the guy really, like face to face, like never had like a fucking phone call or whatever, and I just hit him up on Instagram and he immediately gets back on FaceTime and he's like, hey, what's up? Yeah, man, I fucking love your art, it's awesome, like, yeah, well, like, you know, try shit out. Just like that, like that yes man energy, but in a moral way, where it's like you're not just gonna say yes to anything, but like if something just potentially good crosses your path, like that's how I've been for the last couple of years. And it's financially stressed the shit out of me sometimes, because like people will turn around and be like, oh, you should do this, and then I do it, and like I don't really make any money out of it, but like people love it. Like when I did the allegedly boards for everybody in the Irish Bear Clan, I think I did like 20 of them, so there was like 20 of us at the time. I did an allegedly board for like pretty much everyone, you know, and then there was a few people after the fact that were like, oh, can I get one? So I did more of them, you know. I even did a custom one for we had a preacher. We had a preacher in our group. But, well, I really liked him. I thought he was a cool guy. He was very, very honest, very open and honest. And he was very religious, like, you know, and he was like, oh, can I get an allegedly board? So I did, instead of doing a black one with white writing, I did him a white one with gold writing. His favorite he spoke multiple times about his favorite passage in the Bible, which is like Ezekiel something. I can't remember the number. But I put that Bible passage on the back of the board and all, like, and he loved it. He thought it was deadly, like, and that's the stuff that like gives me, like, I love making people happy. Do you know what I mean? And like it can be fucked up, you know, because you can put effort into making someone happy, and then like you just end up getting shit for it, like, or it just feels like an utter waste. But most of the time, it's an unparalleled feeling of being able to just like do something like this and then give it to someone and like feel how like much it makes them laugh, or how like the sense of nostalgia it gives them, or just like on an emotional level, like what it means to them and stuff. Like I never thought I would be in a position where someone would turn around and ask me to paint something for their daughters. they're young daughters, and I was like, Solver Bear, like sometime last year, asked me to paint something for his young girls, and like I was immediately like, oh, excuse me. Like the second he asked me, I was like, I don't know if I can do that. You know, like I'm quite the degenerate. Like I'm quite vulgar. I'm quite like, you know, offensive. I'm rough and tumble. Like, do you know what I mean? And my art a lot of the times reflects that. Like, you know, it's like, yeah, as funny and as fun as stuff like Garlos is, there's an element of like, at least teenage humor, like, do you know what I mean, where it's like, it's not really for kids, like, do you know what I mean? Like, and I've even taken steps when I'm uploading to YouTube, like doing the shorts and stuff, where I'm like, this isn't for kids. I don't want kids seeing this in case I curse, or if I used to smoke on stream and stuff like that. Like, you know, I'm talking about stuff that kids shouldn't know about, like, and all this shit, like, and it's just like, I didn't think I would be in that kind of position, like, you know, and then someone like Solver Bear's like, oh, can you do, I was thinking about commissioning you to do a painting for my daughters, like, and I was like, okay, well, what do you want? And he's like, you know, just cutesy stuff, like mermaids and unicorns and fucking castles and stuff like that and all, like, and when I started doing it, I was like, oh, this is gonna be so shit, like, do you know what I mean? And then I did it, and it actually turned out pretty decent, like. The best part of it was, in my opinion, the best part of it was I did a rabbit and a carrot on the bottom of the page, in like the foreground at the bottom. So that like the main attraction was the big unicorn with purple hair in the middle, and she was very pretty and had, you know, pretty eyelashes and pretty hair and all this stuff, like, you know, and a bright pink horn, and there was mermaids taking a bath in a little pond in the background, and I did like loads of trees with big juicy apples on them and stuff, and a cute looking bird singing in a tree with like music notes coming out. But like my favorite part of it was like at the bottom of the foreground, I did a brown hare, you know, like a big rabbit, and he was like poised to pounce and begin sprinting after this carrot. And like a few feet in front of him was this carrot that is like mid-sprint looking back at him, like, and it was just like a really cool little like cartoon moment, like, and I was like, I'm actually quite proud of that, like, and like they were like, Solver Bear said that they were more than happy with the painting, and they were like, one of his daughters in particular was like inspecting it and analyzing it and like in awe of like how I did certain things and all, like, you know, and it's actually one of the things that made me think about, like, oh, maybe I could teach art, you know? But yeah, it's just like, I never thought I'd be in this position. And I'm like, honored. I'm like honored that I'm in this position. It's like humbling, and sometimes it's intimidating, you know? Sometimes it is intimidating. It's like someone like Joe, or fucking like, someone like Joe Gagan, or someone like or like Bowler Bear, or like, you know, like these people who are clearly very intelligent, highly educated, like, you know, really, like, maybe not formally, but like, you know, just very wise, intelligent people who are just like really hard workers, you know, just like straight up really hard workers. And I look at stuff like that, like, and I'm just like, I kind of gave up for a while, you know. That's why I got like suicidal fucking before, like years ago. It was like, I put a lot of hard work in. I was a really hard worker, and I wanted to be a really hard worker, and I wasn't rewarded for my work. If anything, I was actually like fucked over for it and shit. Like, I was seen as a threat. I legitimately had moments where I had other dudes turning around and telling me that I made them look bad, you know. Like, I was one of those guys. I was like too genuine and naive to realize that I was actually making enemies by like crushing. You know, like it was fucked up, like, do you know what I mean? And then it wasn't always like that, you know. Like, there was sometimes I got a job and I was like, shit, this is really hard, I don't know if I could do this, like, you know. But like most of the time I was like a really hard worker, and it showed. But most of the time it didn't matter, you know. And I got really depressed because of that, like, you know. I have that like delta energy where like when I do a good job I want it to be acknowledged. Because, like, if somebody did a good job for me, acknowledge it.
LinkedIn's deep sales platform.
You can fuck off my stream, you cunt. That yellow jacket does not become you, bitch. Matrix was gay. I like the first 3. I haven't seen the 4th one. I heard the 4th one was terrible. But I really like the first 2. I think they are profound movies, and I love the fight scenes in them. Especially the fight scene in 1 in the subway with Smith is epic. The fight scene between Neo and Morpheus in the dojo when he's like, I know Kung Fu. He's like, show me. You know, that's fucking epic. The fight scene in the second one with Seraph in the tea house when Neo walks in and it's just him in the tea house and he's like, you seek the Oracle, and he's like, yes, and he's like, I will bring you to her, but first I must ask forgiveness. Or please forgive me. And he's like, for what? And he just starts trying to kick the head off. I like that's why I like the first 2 especially, is because there's moments like that are genuinely profound lessons in life. And what Seraph says to Neo when he stops him fighting, they've been fighting for a few minutes and he just does this and stops. And Neo's like, what the fuck? And he's like, I needed to know if it was really you. And Neo's like, you could have just asked. And he's like, no, you do not truly know someone until you fight them. And that is fucking true. That is fucking true. I personally chose to cut a few people out of my life because of how they chose to fight me as a friend, as a loyal friend. They chose to fight me in what I believed, in what I know to be a dishonorable fashion, you know. They were young men with no sense of honor, you know. All they knew was pride, ego, and rage, and I had that beaten out of me, you know. And then I went into martial arts, and like that's like a huge life lesson, especially for males, you know. There's always a bigger fish, you know. There's always a bigger fish, like, and it fucking you don't truly know someone until you fight them. I'm a big believer in that. Like, I think Owen only recently said that somebody he knows said that. Was it Brandon from Vertac? I think it was Brandon from Vertac who was like, you don't know someone until you fight them. It is one of the most true fucking things you'll ever learn. Is in the moment where someone, when you're actually fighting someone physically, you will learn what kind of person they are to their core, you know. Like, and it's basically, do they fight dirty, you know? It's like you can learn immediately how much honor a person has when you fight them, especially when they're your friends, when they're supposed to be your friends and they start behaving in a certain manner over certain things. I quickly learned, I was like, these people aren't actually my friends, you know, like they're using me for something, you know. The relationship they have with me is convenient for them, and that's not a friend, you know. That's a parasite. And like, and that's not saying that they're bad people, you know. A lot of that can actually be done ignorantly. A lot of that can be done without their they're not aware of it. They're not aware of, I would say most people aren't aware, you know, of how fucked up they are, you know, because they're like locked in. They got that tunnel vision. We're all aware of like how fucked up we can be or could be, you know. I am very aware. Like I've said it before. Like I would make an excellent villain. Like, and because I know that, I'm like, okay, I want to be good. I want to be a good guy. Because I know what would happen if I chose to be the villain. I would burn this place to the fucking ground. like I'd definitely be Joker-esque, you know? I'd be like a mix of Joker and Bane. I'd be like pure deadpan. I wouldn't be as much of a lunatic and a loose cannon as the Joker. I'd be more organized and more deadpan and serious like Bane. But I definitely would have that clown-esque side to me, where like sometimes I would just do outlandish shit just for the sake of it, just to experience it. Like, you know, it's like, well, what do we have hostages? What are we gonna do with them? I've never done a blood eagle before. like, you know, let's make a show out of it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, have you ever seen the movie Event Horizon? You know, like the shit that gets done to some people in that, where their fucking skin gets flayed off and their eyes are like popped out of their head and shit, and they're like walking around naked with fucking what's that movie called? It's not The Punisher. No, what is it? What's that movie called with the dude with the nails sticking out of his head? What's that fucking called? I can't remember what it's called. But like, I have a really fucked up side to me. Like, do you know what I mean? I have a really demonic side to me that I have like witnessed, and I'm like, shit. That's that's not just like, you know, some kind of outside entity. Like, that is like that's me. That's part of my essence. Like, you know, vengeful, arrogant, you know, like manipulative, fucking, you know, big style vengeful. Like, I have a big vengeful streak. And like, I've read into that stuff where, like, you know, astrologically and fucking culturally and stuff, it's like, I'm a Scorpio. I was born in a winter month. And like, Scorpio is Judas. Scorpio, like, allegorically or like, you know, metaphorically is Judas. And Judas is the betrayer, the assassin. And you can have, like, you know, an opinion, you can have either side of an opinion about that, where it's like, is that a bad thing or a good thing? You know, because like, if Judas didn't betray Jesus, then this wouldn't have happened and we wouldn't have got this result. But then on the other hand, it's like, who the fuck trusts people who betray you? Like, you know, it's like, and it's also a thing where, like, when you read up on shit about like that with yourself, it's like, shit, do I have the potential to be like a betrayer? And yes I do, like, big style. I've looked through my past and been like, yeah, like, I have a vengeful streak in me. Like, like, if somebody fucks me over, I'm like, I'm not letting this go. You know, like, but I learned harsh lessons. You can see it in my face. Like, a lot of pain. There's a lot of pain in realizing, like, that you have brought, you are the source of your suffering. You know, when you come to the realization that it's not your parents, that it's not the government, that it's not God, it's not any of these things, it's you. You know, profoundly painful. Yeah, like the last ones were even worse. Hella IF. Irritably faggy. I don't know what IF means. Yeah, I didn't really like the third one, apart from like the battle scenes with the mechs and stuff like that. Like, I thought the fight scene in the third one at the end between Smith and Neo, where they basically made the two of them out to be fucking gods, and they're like flying around wrecking the city Superman style and all, like, I thought that was a bit stupid, you know. It's just kind of like, when something kind of like goes too far, you know, and it just starts to escalate into mad shit, like, I was like, ugh, whatever. Like, sure, it's kind of cool, but it's like, meh. And then I didn't even bother watching the fourth one, Resurrections or whatever it's called. But part of me does want to watch it to see if there's any gravy in it, because those movies do have gravy in them. Even the third one. Free will, always the way, even if we don't see it. Like, yeah, like, if you think you have all these problems in your life and you're trying to figure out how to get rid of them, you're the problem. You know? Like, you need to look inward. So, like, I know you made me and all, but I'm going to be you, but better, all while being me too. I am the everything bagel. You just imagine God, like, fucking being like, okay, Lucy, you know, bring it, like, give me your argument, like, you know, and Lucifer's just like says his piece, and God's just like, all right, go ahead, do what you want. And Lucifer's like, what? It's like, go ahead, do what you want, you know, but this and this is gonna happen. It's like, but I'm the best. And it's like, look, okay, I'm gonna clip your wings, and all the lads that are in your little group, I'm gonna clip their wings too, and you can do whatever you want down there, and we'll see what happens. I got time. I made time. You don't think I got time to figure out how much of a bitch you are? Like, man, like, you could do, like, I'd love to do a fictional dialogue, like, vaguely based on, like, you know, biblical stories. I would love to do a skit of, like, the betrayal of Lucifer, like, do you know what I mean? Where he's like, "Da! I'm sick of this! I want to be, I want your job!" And, like, and God's just, like, fucking, you know, making a fucking fence or a chair. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's a carpenter. Like, he's a cosmic carpenter. It's like, "Father, I have a bone to pick with you." He just, like, puts the mallet and chisel down. He's just like, "All right, Lucy, come on." Like, sit down and let's talk, you stupid little bitch. Pay for Peinteingu so Wishiu's phone will blow up. She'll just see all this money coming in. She's like, what the fuck? What's he doing on that stream? Like, and she, like, tunes in, and I'm just sitting here shit talking. I'm not even painting. Like, I've literally made brown and put a coat of brown on the bear. That's all I've done in the past 2 hours and 15 minutes in terms of painting. Like, painting, goo goo goo. North Idaho has some greats. Surprised Joe has not moved up there. Man, Missouri seems like the place to be. I'd love to be able to hang out with Gardner and all. He's just like, Gardner seems like one of those dudes where, like, just hanging out with him for a few months would just make you a better person. Like, he's just, like, so cool and knowledgeable and, like, knows all this shit and has experienced so many things and, like, experimented with so many physical, like, things himself and shit. Like, he's so, like, independently minded, independently, like, creative. I feel like just hanging around with Chris Gardner for, like, a few months would just like automatically make you a better person. Like, I think those movies got worse as the Wachowskis changed over. Yeah, like, it just went off the rails, in my opinion. I love the first two. I love the first two. I really do. Like, I only recently watched the two of them again when, well, recently enough, when we were in France with Juju. She was like, "Oh, what do you want to watch?" And she had the Matrix movies on Amazon or some shit like that. So I was like, "Oh, come on, we'll watch the Matrix. Like, it'd be deadly." Like, and it was a really enjoyable experience because the female, like, had seen bits and bobs of them, but, like, didn't really know what was going on, and, like, I was explaining some bits as we were watching them and shit, like, and it was really cool. Hellraiser, thank you. Dick Fordew on the fucking ball, thank you. Hellraiser, yeah, I have Hellraiser energy. Like, it's like trying to, like, pick a bad guy from known lore in fantasy and be like, which one of them kind of has, like, yeah, Hellraiser. I have that, like, I don't give a fuck energy in a bad way, you know, and a good way. Paint. like I bring that energy to Peinteingu where I'm like, I don't give a bollocks, like, do you know what I mean? I'll do whatever, like, in a good way. But when I'm in, like, when I go dark, it's so dark. Do you know what I mean? Because that is that kind of Joker energy where it's like, I don't care about the money. It's about the message. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, it would be horrifying. Like, I know it would be hard. Like, I'd horrify myself. That's how I know how horrifying it would be. I would literally horrify myself. There'd be moments where I'd be like, damn, I'm really going in with this. Like, like, because there's moments like that with this end of it. Like, there's moments where I do a Peinteingu and I'll like come back the following morning, or like I do one of my symmetricals and I'm like, wow, like I really love doing this, and like, man, like people like my stuff, and like they think I'm funny and all, and like they like it when I talk about interesting things at length and share my opinions on things and stuff. Like, this is so cool. Like, I love this so much and all. Like, there's an opposite end to that spectrum. Like, if I went dark, it would be fucking dark. But it'd be fun. It'd be really fun while it lasted. I think me and Lucifer would get along great, like, you know what I mean? Like, I think Owen's like that, you know. I think a lot of us, I think Joe would be like that. I think fucking Demon Hunter would be like that. I think we all have that aspect of us where it's like, if we did use our free will to go bad, we would be very, very, very bad, you know. So it's good that we're good. And I think that's why they try to make you bad. I think that's why they tried to change you. That's why they try to traumatize you. That's why they try to make you bitter and nihilistic and evil and all, is because they know how much potential your average person has for good. So they obviously have the potential to be bad, you know. We live in an inverted time, in an inverted realm, and it's like tragic and poetically ironic and all this fucking shit, but it depends on how you look at it. Like, like I said, it's not that the problem is choice, it's that the answer is choice. The mix of Bane and Joker, the banker. That is brilliant. That is fucking brilliant. Somebody should do that. Somebody should make a fucking comic book where, like, the villain is just a banker. Like, it's all financial. It'd probably be hard to make it an interesting comic book, but I don't know. Maybe he's like banker by day, murderer by night. I don't fucking know. Like, hair laser. Instead of Hellraiser, hair laser. Oh, that would be so fun. That's like a Wolfenstein-esque thing where it's like you go back in time to Nazi Germany when, like, World War II and all, where they're like experimenting with, you know, Gnostic technology and like cosmological otherworldly shit, like the Black Sun theory and all, like, and they make this like really buff fucking genetically altered German soldier called Hair Laser, and he just has like, he's got like laser beams coming out of his eyes, and he can like shoot laser beams out of his hands, and like that's like a 1980s like super villain, like, do you know what I mean? Hair Laser. Oh, that's going in a Peinteingu. Some big German guy, like some big Nazi cyborg thing that just has lasers coming out of everywhere. Reminds me of that scene from fucking Dodgeball. It's like, allow me to introduce my team. Laser, Blazer, Taser, and Fran Stelanatsky Organovskovich. I fucking love that movie. You can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. Boing. Oh god. Fucking hell. Yeah, we'll give it more like lifelike, guys. Peinteingu, 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 Peinteingu. 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 Oh, how dare you! I was just getting into Fro. I was just getting into Fro! Aldi! Fuck you, Aldi! I love Aldi. Aldi's a great shop. Peinteingu. Peinteingu. Do, do, do. Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo 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 goo. Trying to get a beige color for that lampshade. Oh yeah! Glorious! Almost there. That's like a pale brown. Want more yellow in there. Being a piss-drinking Irishman, I have plenty of yarrow lying around. Okay, now we have like yellow ochre. And I'm gonna reduce that down with some white. Try and get kind of like a just... Like, you know that colour that's on most fucking, you know, your basic lampshade, where it's like, it's not cream, it's not white, it's more of like a very, 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 very pale brown, beige kind of fucking colour. And the gouache always dries darker than what it is when it's wet. So you always have to account for, like, the fact that the shade is going to be slightly different once it's dry. I don't generally have to worry about it too much, but it's just good to know. Perfect! Perfection! Peinteingu perfection. I think I am going to put a black outline on a lot of this, especially the shoes, because like the shoes do look like a pile of shoes, especially up close, but they're still quite vague. I want to try and get some detail in there so that the second you look at it you're like, oh, it's full of shoes. Okay, the bear. Keep working on the bear. Like, even with that really opaque white that I have, even a smidge, a touch of water, and it becomes not transparent, but like, you know, semi-transparent, which means that when it dries, and because it's kind of like gouache, it looks like a glaze more than like a white, so it takes a couple of coats. Hell of a lot easier than basic acrylics, though. Peinteingu. I always hated how basic acrylics are, like, you know, much more plasticky, and they have that light fastness to them where they have that kind of glossy finish. To me, it's just... To me, it's ugly. I prefer things to be matte and smooth and sharp. Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo goo. Peinteingu. Oh yeah, what are we gonna put in the other cart? This one here. I know we're gonna make the bagel and everything bagel, and we're gonna throw loads of shit on it. But what was gonna go in the other cart? I know I'm gonna put wooden doors here, so they're coming out of wooden doors. And then we'll put something else in the cart. Demon Hunter Bear has too much honor now. Someone needs to take the piss out of him. Oh god. Demon Hunter Bear's beard is so primal and so large that he often ferments things in it for later, like a real bear. You want another pile of shoes? You're not paying attention, Core Bear, or are you taking the piss? Like, that's actually hilarious if it's just like, just do another pile of shoes. Oh, fuck. That's actually gas. Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo goo. So I have to fix the bagel in terms of like the angle of the shadow and shit. Like, it's off at the moment. You gotta save snacks for later. Like, like, you see me in the last like 2 streams, I'll take a sip of me coffee and then there'll be like a bit of honey on me beard and I'm just like nom nom. Like, oh. Okay. Yeah, I'll shade the bear and the bagel because they're both brown. Be handy. Oh, my arse is getting seriously numb. Demon Hunter Bear is like Peter Griffin, birds nesting in his beard. Hey, leave Steve the Starling out of this. You just have this little bird that lives in your beard, like, and you'll just like, anytime something like food drops or some shit, like, you don't even need to worry about it. Like, you just see this tiny little bird come out and like peck around and shit. Like, hey, you leave Steve the Starling alone. Oh, I love it. Oh man, you're hilarious. Like, see, like Demon Hunter Bear does have me in stitches when we're playing PlayStation together and all, like, and on the stream, not just like off stream. Like, it's fucking your gas, man. Hey, you leave Steve out of this. That's like the perfect comedic response to that. Like, oh. Alright, I need to make this slightly paler. Put a bit of yellow in it. I need to get back to that kind of yellow ochre. Okay, now looking at the shadow. No, yeah, I should do the dark part first. Shouldn't I? Yeah, I should do the dark part first. So, adding brack, going dark. Could you imagine, like, you have like a team of like Navy SEALs or like Delta Force lads who are like, they're like going dark, and like 4 of them put their night vision on, and then it just cuts to one of them, and he's like putting blackface on. Like, Tango's inside. We have all of their locations marked out because we've tapped into the Wi-Fi and used that shit. There's 4 at the back, 1 at the front. Breaching in 4. Going dark. And like like all of them except one guy just go click and put the night vision goggles down, and it cuts to like Gary in the corner and he's just like smearing charcoal on his face. Give me a sec, guys, I'm nearly ready. Like, fuck's sake, Gary, not that kind of dark. Fuck, like, like. All one needs to do is skit where it's like a lot of Garys get together, where it's like Gary's Anonymous, where it's like, why is it always us? You know, why did he always say it's like, hey Gary? Like, like, it's fucking mean, man. I mean, like, us Garys, we're just like other dudes. Oh god. Okay, now, yeah, okay, make this a bit, go out a bit more to like here. Almost perfect. Yeah, that's much better. Yeah, that's much better. Peinteingu, goo 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 goo. I feel like it's been piss and rain here for like the whole week. It's actually starting to get a little bit depressing. And like, I like the rain and all, but when it's just constant and it's just always grey. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, it's fucking like literally ideal weather for me. No way I'm getting sunburned in this shit. Like, yeah, like I want it to be like, you know, as circular as I can get it. Painting, goo goo. Painting, goo goo. I'm gonna see if I can put a gradient on the on the left side of it. Time for stretching goo. Would you guys be interested in if I did qigong classes? Like I say qigong classes, it's not like I'm fucking qualified or anything. It's not like there's belts in qigong or whatever, but like I've done it long enough and I know like the stances and like the breathing techniques and like how to do it and shit, like, and I think people, like, part of me was like, I suppose the other aspect is that I'm trying to like be really productive with my time, so when I'm doing things like meditating or doing my qigong, if I'm not listening to a stream or like some kind of podcast that's like giving me information or something, like I want to be productive with it, like, you know. And part of me thought it'd be really funny and like educational, but also like just kind of like a thing we could do together as well. Whereas like if I did if I did like 40-minute videos or an hour video of me going through all the stances, and not only is that does that like, you know, give me the opportunity to do my qigong, but like, you know, you guys could watch it, like I could put fucking tunes in the background like I do here, or I could you know, just talk about the stances and like what you're supposed to be feeling in those moments or something, like, you know, what to keep your mind, your attention on in any given moment, like, you know, stuff like that. Try and do it from multiple angles to like, you know, show you like where you're supposed to keep your posture and stuff. I can sympathize living in everlasting rain. Everlasting Rain sounds like an amazing name for a song. The Everlasting Rain. And you could do it both. You could do Everlasting Rain as an R-A-I-N, and then you could do Everlasting Rain as an R-E-I-G-N. That'd be cool. Everlasting Rain would be acoustic guitar and real sad song, and then Everlasting Rain, R-E-I-G-N, would be like metal and like really hard. Like, I'd be interested in that. I feel like I should be stretching a lot more, considering I lift heavy five days a week. Yeah, man, stretching would probably make you feel real good, like. And that's all. Like, essentially, what qigong is For those who like have never done it or don't know what it is, like it's not all this like woo woo, you know, energy shit. It's very literal. There are nerve endings and blood vessels and like all sorts of like, you know, tracks, like a train, like a rail, right, carrying blood and like stuff like, you know, your plasma that hasn't like become blood yet, and then you have like your fucking the chemicals and hormones in your blood, and then you've got like the cerebral spinal fluid and stuff like that, like, you know. So essentially what qigong has helped me maintain over the last like 7 odd years that I've been doing it is the days where I feel very stiff and my posture is really bad because I haven't done a workout, or the days where I do a workout and I'm trying to recover better. It allows you to really develop that mind-body connection by forcing your body into biomechanically advantageous positions for the propagation and support of good blood flow and nerve ending health, essentially. So like something as simple as just standing with your knees shoulder width apart, slightly bent, and starting off like you'll start off like this, like you're holding a ball, right? And then you'll do like 15 minutes of that, and then about 5 to 10 minutes of legs straight and elbows out like this, and then go back down slightly into arms being out here, still holding a ball. And then you return to here again, and then you go here, so the ball is like above your head, like Atlas, you know. And then you go to here, then you go to center again. I think this is called what's it called? I can't remember what the stance is called, but they're always telling you to like you start off in this stance with the like legs straight, and you're trying to be very like, you know, posturally erect, and like, you know, it was really funny when I was watching one of the fucking seminars, actually, one of the Asian guys teaching, because he was explaining how important the anus is in overall health, and it's like if your anus is actually out of alignment with the top of your skull, you know, so like the bottom of your tailbone, essentially, like, you know, it's like the bottom of your spine and the top of your skull, they're supposed to be in tandem, they're supposed to be aligned, you know. And most people have like posture problems where it like puts you out of alignment, and simply being out of alignment is what makes things like gives you like numbing sensations, bad blood flow, can make your tendons like and your bones even start to become misshapen because they're at the wrong angle. It's not like it's similar to the really widespread problem in the West of Westerners have really poor feet. Oh, excuse me. I'm like that. My big toes turn inwards because I have worn shoes that are poorly constructed, essentially. Like, you know, these mass-produced shoes that all go to a point are really bad for your feet. Like, really, really bad for your feet. And we all fucking wear them. We've all been wearing them for fucking decades, like, you know. And it's becoming a big thing now in the last like 5 years that you have like, you know, all these companies that create shoes that have a wide toe box. Chris Gardner spoke about it briefly before, where he said he had to get those, you know, those toe spreaders that they use when you're going to like a salon or something for women when they're getting like pedicures and shit like that. Like, you should actually get your hands on like a pair of really strong ones of them. Like wooden ones or something, like, you know, and place them in between your toes when you're going to bed to like realign your toes, because your toes are supposed to be like your hand, you know. Whereas like my toes are like fucking like this, you know, my big toes like curled inwards and shit. Like, now it's not as severe as like I've seen. I wouldn't even call it severe, to be quite honest, like, because I can still do this essentially with my feet, which is what you should be trying to do a lot, you know, if you suffer from those problems and those like stiffness in your body and shit like that. Is like your feet are your foundation, and there's another reason why qigong is so powerful. you're constantly trying to drive down when you're doing the qigong, you know. So every stance where you're like this or like that or like this or like this or whatever, like the last stance is out like this, so it like really gets into your traps and your shoulders. And essentially what it is a full a self-performed full body deep tissue massage is essentially what doing qigong correctly does to the body. It opens all the blood vessels and the channels, because like you're doing stuff with your body that you wouldn't like naturally be doing all the time, like, do you know what I mean? And you're forcing your body through like your tension if you're trying to, like, you know, because your stuff will get tired, you know, and you're supposed to keep your eyes closed and the tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth, and you're supposed to breathe only through your nose. And what essentially that does is create a closed circuit system in your body where you're just inflating, deflating, inflating, deflating, and your knees are bent the whole time as well slightly, so you're like constantly pushing into the ground. And what you're trying to do is essentially imagine yourself as like a tree who's like rooting yourself into the floor, right? And you do it like with a bit of practice, and like, you know, like if you, depending on how unhealthy your posture is and stuff like that, or like the sensory awareness of the nervous system in your body, there is a pulse that goes from the top of your spine to the bottom of your spine, the bottom of your spine back to the top of your spine. There's a energetic pulse that you can feel, that you can tune into, and once you get that, it starts doing all sorts of shit. Like, you know, I'll be doing this for a while. This is one of my favorite, my favorite stance is this, because it's one of the stances that I can hold for the longest, and it's also the stance that like gets my traps and my shoulders activated the most. And when you really get into the rhythm of it, like you can feel the electrical pulse, you know, going through your whole nervous system. And what you're trying to do is essentially relieve all the tension from your body, and it really does work, you know. And it's like, would you rather spend a lot of money going to the chiropractor, or would you rather like perform a session of chiropractic massage over an hour, you know? And you can do it for as long as you want and shit. Like, it's like they actually tell you to do each stance for a minimum of 15 minutes, and there's like 4 stances, and they're just the basic stances. There's also stances that include getting on the ground and going into full lotus position and then doing the same things, you know. So like you'd be fucking sweating buckets after it, like seriously, like, you know, and like your body gets incredibly sore at certain parts. But what I've noticed is, unlike going to the gym or doing calisthenics or like, you know, doing a vigorous exercise, unlike when you do that and during and after the exercise you're very sore, you know, and your body is like, your muscles have been torn, you know, in a micro sense and all this stuff. Like, you feel sore after a workout. Conversely, when you're doing qigong, you can feel very sore during it, but if you push through and then return to center, by the end of it you feel fucking great. Like, you'd be like really warm, buckets of sweat coming off you, and like everything from your the tips of your fingers to the tips of your toes to like the top, the crown of your head, and like everything like just feels active and on point, at least for a while anyway. Like like it's sort of demoralizing sometimes being me, because like I haven't done enough rigorous exercise in tandem with it to get my body to a stage where I don't have to do it as much. I find myself quite often having to do it for a long period of time to reset my spine, to reset my nervous system, my lower back, my shoulders, my traps, stuff like that. Like there's days I get up and I'm like, oh my god, I feel like shit, and then I do my gong for an hour and then I'm ready to go, you know. But anyway, enough gong talk. gold teeth. You want me to give the bear gold teeth? And a turd with a diamond ring in it. I'd rather watch paint dry. Oh, that's hilarious. I do P90X X stretch, very similar to Qigong. Yeah, like there's Western versions of that stuff. I think your man, was it Diamond Dallas Page, the guy that was on Joe Rogan years ago, who did that video about that dude who was like a former war veteran and he was like severely obese, constantly walking around with crutches and shit. And then he basically got him to do a load of stances, a load of it's called isometric training is the technical term for what it is. And Qigong is essentially a light, low impact form of isometric training, because what you're doing is you're forcing your body to maintain position, which, like, you know, what they say about muscle building and all that and keeping fit is time under tension equals growth. You know, roughly, you know. So when you do all the Shaolin stuff of like horse stance and like that PX shit and all, it's all the same stuff. It's like you're essentially forcing your body to resist the natural forces of your body. You know, trying to hold your body out like this, trying to hold your body out like that. Like, it's the same reason why swimming is really good for you, because it's essentially resistance training. But like the isometric Qigong stuff is low impact but really high return, in the sense of, like, you know, it's actually teaching you to it's teaching you to feel that sense of weightlessness, to be able to like glide around, you know, when you're walking, instead of like having a heavy footfall, you know, and having, like, you know, bad joints in your ankles and your knees and your hips and stuff like that as a result, and then you get lower back pain and all these things. Like I was saying, your feet are your root, you know. It's the same reason you see all these people being like, oh, you need to touch grass, you need to get your bare feet on the grass because you need to ground yourself. Like, you know, ideally what you want to do is for at least an hour a day, go out, stand in a place where you're grounded to the earth and do Qigong or something similar, you know. And that will reset your nervous system. It'll promote like a healthy nervous system, promote healthy posture, which in itself promotes a healthy nervous system, because if you have a healthy posture, everything's in alignment. And like, your spine is the most important fucking part of your body, because it holds you up, and connected to your spine is your central nervous system. You know, your vagus nerve is the big nerve that runs through your entire body, hits all the limbs, hits all the organs, and your vagus nerve can be affected by trauma, emotional, mental, physical, all sorts of things, you know. It's one of the ways to regulate your vagus nerve and all this shit. Like, fascinating stuff, you know. The type, like, what I call actual medicine and health, you know. Two things I've learned big style in the last few years is movement is medicine, and you don't need weights. All you need is the floor. You know, all you need is your own body and the floor. You don't need a gym. You don't need weights. You can be insanely strong from just using your body as the weight, you know. Don't get me wrong, ideally you should have at least have a pull-up bar, like those gymnast things, like, what are they called, fucking planche sticks or some shit. Like, you want to be able to do dips and pull-ups is like ideal, you know, but you don't need them, you know. You'd still be really strong just doing burpees and push-ups and handstands, and, you know, like, you can kind of get the same effect by doing, like, if you can perform a handstand and then slowly go down and then shoot back up, you know, those what are they called, I can't remember now. There's a term for it where it's like negative training. Those negative forces, where it's like, instead of doing a bicep curl, where you get, like, you know, you get the thing and you curl it upwards, what you do is you hold it out and you try and control the descent, you know, and then come back up, and then control descent, and then come back up. Like, you can do that while doing a press up. Is like, kind of like vaguely similar to doing like rows or pull-ups, you know, because you're using the same muscle groups, but you're using them in a different way. You're not trying to push and then go down and then push and then go down. You're trying to push and then slowly descend. And like I'm telling you now, like just doing that on like a slight incline on a press up is like pretty intense. Doing it on a handstand, it's fucking hard. Oh, excuse me. I think it's hilarious where like most people are like, oh yeah, I need to cut the weight. I want to grow muscle and like I want to keep the weight off and I want to be lean. I'm the opposite. I want to be a fat fuck for a while because I've been lean for years. I'm too skinny right now. Like I have like white knuckles when I squeeze. Because like I'm literally just like skin, muscle, and bone, you know, which I suppose can be useful sometimes. But like I want a thick Viking-esque layer of fat, you know, especially over my stomach because of the hernia. I assume, considering I got one very young and then I got another one, that I have a genetic predisposition to getting hernias in that exact spot. So that's one of the things that I wanted to work on over the last few years is how thick the layer is on my abdomen to like prevent shit like that from happening again. Okay. I am going to put one more layer of white on his eyes and his mouth so he's ready for tomorrow. But both my ass cheeks have just gone numb in the past 15 minutes and my lower back is starting to get sore and I am really fucking hungry. So, ooh, what's this? Oh, I only recently added this to the playlist actually, I think. Let's check this out. Okay. Right. My beloved Japanites. This concludes today's Peinteingu. I hope you enjoyed Ingu. I know I did. Believe me when I say you are bring me much joy in your support of Peinteingu. Alas, I must leave you for the moment. Do not fret, I will return. Tomorrow, same time, same price, same high-octane, painting, ranting, farting, burping, shit-talking energy. Until then, be good, be true, and be beautiful. And remember to support Peinteingu if you have any honor. For those who supported Peinteingu today, you have a much honor, and I love you for it. Gotta go, have a breast day defenderoo of my fellow Japanite brethren. We all gotta go now. It would appear 3 hours of Peinteingu is just enough Peinteingu. Right. Be good, be true, and be beautiful. God bless. And I will return tomorrow. 3 p.m. 3 will be the time to gather your chi. Until then, I bid thee farewell. Peinteingu. I'm digging this.